Hello, everybody. Hopefully the microphone is on and you can all hear me. What were you listening to? Well, that was actually Pacific Crest 2019. One of the lots somewhere. Honestly, I'm not too sure. For those of you who are first timers or haven't been around PC, or maybe for everyone, welcome. My name is Matt Lackey, and I have quite a long history with the Drum and Bugle Corps, and I'm excited to see everyone here. This is already great that we have already a great chat going on. Hope everyone's doing well. And thank you for joining us for Pacific Crest Live. Welcome to Twitch. If this is your first time here to Twitch, welcome. Hope you're all having a good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Gabe, I saw Gabe Kobos. What's up, man? How you doing, dude? I saw that you're out there in Boston, so it's a little bit later, depending on where you are in the world. But thank you so much for joining us. This is our first ever live fundraising event like this. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a ton to get to. We have a ton to show you, and we're excited that we're all just here hanging out. Feel free to join along in the chat if you'd like. And welcome, everyone. Just to give you a little bit of history of myself, I marched with the Drum and Bugle Corps in 2000 and 2001 Pacific Crest. Then I marched the Blue Devils Row 203, came back in 04 and have been on staff ever since 04. Took 1 year off somewhere in there. But even during that year, I wasn't on staff or anything. I was still helping out behind the scenes and stuff like that. So it's good to see everyone. Thanks, everyone, for being here. And hope we get a chance to hang out and relive some memories. I really wanted to start off first, check out all the logos we've had over the years. Extra points if you ever marched, performed, or were on staff during this logo. I can't even believe that was a logo. When Stuart first showed me that one, I was just like, that can't be a logo. Is that for real? So, yes, Chris Vester, that's true. Chris and myself actually marched, we performed together in high school, which is kind of crazy. In fact, funny side story about Mr. Chris Vester is there were times where I saw him actually marching to and from class. Didn't know why at the time. Now I think that's the coolest thing ever, but I can verify that actually did happen. So, okay. So first things first, we've got a bunch to get to. So we kind of got to move through this with a little to keep the thing moving. But just want to let everyone know we are fundraising today. If you see down here, we've got this goal here. We're trying to raise $2,500, and all of it goes towards the Drum and Bugle Corps. Really excited that this is a chance. For those of you who may or may not know, this weekend is the Rose Bowl show, or the Southern California home show, and it's I gotta be honest, it brought a little bit of tear to the eye, the fact that we aren't gathering all together at the Rose Bowl to watch some awesome Drum and Bugle Corps performances. But so is the case with the COVID-19 and everything like that. So love that you're all here with us today, and we're gonna get things started. So I need to set this video up a little bit. Here's what we're going to do. We have a little intro video that kind of talks about the early history of Pacific Crest. For those of you that may or may not know, the Drum and Bugle Corps started in 1993. And in 2013, 20 years later, we celebrated our 20th anniversary, and we worked and produced a video that kind of went over the history. So that's how we're going to start this thing off. If you watched our first live stream ever, you're already seen parts of this video, but there's a little bit more and kind of talks about how this whole thing got started and how we did it. So here we go. Without further ado, here is the beginnings of Pacific Crest Drum and Bugle Corps.
So the Corps started really in 1989. There were a number of us who were teaching together at Diamond Bar High School, and we were at a drum corps show. I think it was in Orange County somewhere. We were sort of looking at each other thinking, we could do this better. And so in 1992, we got 6 people together. Dale Lehman was definitely the lead instructor. Myself, who would have been at that point doing percussion, Martin Rochford, who I'm calling him our founding board member, his son Greg Rochford, so that was 4 of us, and then Lisa Rochford did the color guard, and then we brought in Carter Schuld to be our first director at the time.
Well, my title was Corps Director, but we just did whatever we had to. Our house was the cook shop. We burned out 3 of the burners on our stove that summer. The house, the living room was the tailor shop. The garage was the storeroom and the horn repair shop. And then any place in the house was weekend dormitory. It was just one big party. There were bodies all over the living room and family room. And so it was a lot of fun, and again, we just did whatever we had to do.
It was first rehearsals. We didn't have horns, and to get the trumpets
in the key of G, the kids had to hold.
They had to tape or hold down that third valve the whole time.
Right.
And so it's like, we've got to get this taken care of. Even though we weren't competing, we couldn't go out there with a horn with a piece of tape on the third valve. And the color guard uniforms for the first probably 5 years were literally off the rack. First year of 5 kids in the guard, we loaded them up into one car and drove over to Target. And went, okay, what do you want to wear? Found something.
I remember the uniforms. I remember some mom made me my uniform as a drum major. I remember the exhibition tournament that we did. I remember standing in an arc at Orange Coast College and the announcer saying, what a great thing that the Pacific Crest is starting up in Southern California, and really the mission of Pacific Crest is to let students be students and also have the fun and the camaraderie of drum corps. I remember the ankle tan that it's taken me years to get rid of. I didn't know where it was going to go. Seeing what I see now, it's amazing. I'm very impressed and very proud to have been on that ground floor, and that's what I wanted to do as that first drum major, is be on the ground floor of such a great organization.
My thoughts were to get this started and then get out of their way, because I was not into music at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think I kept asking you, when are we going to go here? When are we going to do that? As I recall, because these other corps were doing that, and I thought we need to build this up.
The Frankenstein show, which was my age out show, it was a great show, and it started showing a maturity in the design, and it was something that was different than anything else that was being done in Division III, Division II. It was very cool music. It wasn't wind band literature, and it was something that we kind of would dig our teeth into.
We went from being sort of this talked about group that was winning every show. I mean, in the 2 years that we were in Division II, when I was in the Corps, we lost exactly one show, and that was our last show in Division II. I mean, it certainly felt like we were getting better. The shows certainly got harder, so it was definitely more challenging, and certainly the standards in terms of excellence rose. But
what David brought is sort of the opposite approach that I had at that time. He was in your face. You know, I mean, he would get right in front of kids' faces to push them hard, and to see how far he can push them emotionally to get them as tough as they could be. And that made a huge difference, because there was an approach at Pacific Crest that had this level of aggression and assertiveness and take no prisoners, and that got infused throughout the line.
Great. Good to
Very
be
good.
here.
Thank you. Well, it's funny. I was watching all those videos, and it's weird to think back, because part of me I go back and forth between looking through it, looking at 1999, that season with Pacific Crest, through the lens of me in that point in my life, and then me now. And it's kind of two different things. I guess with now, you know, I'm seeing all the things that, not just drum corps in general, but that season specifically, how that's played a major role in literally every single part of my entire life since. Whether that's teach, whether that's music, teaching, writing, drumming, all that, but also just friendships, relationships, my professional life, being a parent, being a husband, all that stuff. It really kind of comes all back to that. Now, the 1999 version of myself would not have seen all of those things and not have foreseen viewing that. But it's like, you know, like every time I see Chris and Tim, or anybody from that group, I think of, you know, being a goofy teenager, like right before we started this, acting like, and it was mostly Tim and Chris acting like Neanderthals, never me. I was very mature and on top of my game all the time. But then, you know, now I just think like those guys had a role in me, you know, reaching some of my own personal and professional goals. You know, like I really owe it to organizations like Pacific Crest and those experiences and those guys that I got to spend that time with.
So, Chris, what was kind of like what was your first year in the drum corps? And then what was it, you know, tell us a little bit about the line in 99. What's it like performing with these guys?
Oh, it was always hijinks. I got to say that. It was never, you couldn't just walk around. I mean, there's going to be somebody poking or touching you. Or if it was me, it was my left hand. So I always had that going for me in a bad way. It was my, I joined PC in 1999, and it was my first and only year. I'd come from a little corps called West Coast Sound, a little Division III corps, got my butt kicked there, and then joined PC, got my butt kicked there, and I went on to March Glassman for my age out and did the full tour, and I couldn't have done Glassman without PC, and I couldn't have done PC without the West Coast Sound before. But it's the year I did in PC, and I met Tim and Brian and all these other fools, all these friends that I never thought I'd have. I thought I was just joining some marching band so I could get more chops for jazz drum set. And now, coincidentally, my jazz drum set's very square, but at least I had the chops, you know, for a bit. And before I got old, but I've met so many great people because of Pacific Crest. And you know, marching at the time and trying to do fundraising and trying to ask my parents and family members and friends and constantly begging for money to make the tour happen, even though it was a fraction of the cost it is today. But they'd always ask, like, why are you doing this? Just do it after you finish college or get a job and do something else. I said, this is going to be so worthwhile for every aspect of my life. And the reality was, I hope, because I hadn't done it. But now, like Brian said, the older I get and the more I get involved in other activities and organizations, the more I see just how valuable joining such a well-run organization, you know, a drum corps that, you know, throughout all of DCI, there's so few drum corps that are solvent and financially solvent, and to see PC sticking around for so long and being so financially healthy, it's a testament to the great management. Now, not to say that we don't need more money. I know with the drum corps tour being canceled this year, I would hope that everybody watching has already realized that, but to know that with those tour fees not coming in, with those other opportunities not being there for the corps to fundraise money, I would just hope people can contribute to the corps, can contribute to tour fees and to those other things. So I can't say enough about PC. There's not a day that goes by in my life or even my musical life that I can't credit Pacific Crest with benefiting me. So.
No, absolutely, man.
It's been a blast.
It's so funny because I mean, well, Tim, I'll start with you. Like, when you think back to 99, did you ever think you were going to have, you know, you'd still be seeing these people? Like, you have an interesting career, I think, in the drum corps activity. I'm curious, did you just have any of that future, you know, did you think to the future at all when you were doing it?
No, I didn't think that 20 years later that I would still be not just friends, but best friends with these guys. You know, I mean, when you're 19, you're not looking at any of that, you know. We were just there to what was great about that year is we were there to drum and have fun, and we did that. So it was a very successful year for us. But yeah, I never thought that I'd be sitting here doing this with all you three. Even I've known you for a long time too, Matt.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's surreal. It feels like yesterday.
When I think back to like all these, like, and it started with you guys back in the late 90s, 99, but like, you know, what Dave was doing with the drum line, Brian goes on and March Cadets, Chris goes on to Glassman, you go on to Blue Devils, like, and this continued to happen. I mean, there were some years where you see like 4 or 5 PC kids is the snare line for Blue Devils the next year. And I'm wondering what any thoughts on why that happened, or what was so special about these kids that were in this group together?
Well, let's not forget Jimmy Yee, who was also a Blue Devil. He marched 91, and we had Damian Meadows doing the bass line, who was a great instructor. And of course, Stuart was doing the front ensemble. So there was a combination of all those things. We also had Matt Altmeyer on staff that year.
Oh, he was actually on staff? Nice.
Yeah. I think part of it, a lot of people don't know this, I was actually in the last drum line that the Velvet Knights ever had before the Corps folded, was in 97.
Oh, man.
Then I marched PC 98 because there was no VK in 99, of course. I think Pacific Crest kind of sort of took over the SoCal scene for drummers wanting to like go to a good organization and get better. And especially I taught the line in 05, Stalker was there in 01. And it was just like the place for good drummers in SoCal to go, which I think is still the case now, so.
One thing I remembered was I marched Pacific Crest in 96 and 97. And I always heard people say, yeah, you march in these local corps that are Division III, Division II, now open class. But then when you get to the world class level, you really take it to the next level. I really felt like I got that next level at Pacific Crest in 99.
Yeah.
And I went on and I marched cadets and we did really well, but it was really, I think back to the stepping stone to that next level really felt like PC 99. And I felt like that was really possible because I didn't march in 98 and I sat there watching PC in the lot in 98 thinking, oh man, this is next level. Because I was just in the Corps the year prior, 97, and we did not drum that way. And so I was anxious to kind of get back to it. So it was pretty cool to feel at that next level, even though, we weren't necessarily like in the top 5 or anything like that. It felt like that the goal and the ability and the teaching were all there.
I was very fortunate to get to chat and to interview a lot of different people during that time period of who was in the drumline and stuff. And one of the things I thought was like that comes up quite often. Like the books were challenging. It felt like you were doing, at the time was Division I or like really top 12 drum corps because of the writing and because of the way the staff was pushing you guys. And that's cool to hear you guys had that similar experience.
Yeah.
Well, I've said many times one of the most consistently clean snare lines I was ever in was 99 Pacific Crest.
Wow.
One of the most fun summers I've had too, and I was in some really great drum lines, but I think a lot of it was a testament to our friendship. We were all just really close and it was easy. It was easy for us to play clean. And we did play a lot of notes. Oh crap. We played a lot of notes.
Dave liked to
write the notes. It was awesome.
Notes.
Yeah. But we thought that's what you're supposed to do. It wasn't like, shocking to us that we got all this stuff. It's like, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. And I think that's another thing is we were all kind of, I don't want to say we had a chip on our shoulder, but we wanted Pacific Crest to be notable. We wanted people to recognize what we were doing, and we pushed it that hard.
Okay, so
I don't want to stomp on you, Doolittle, but before I forget, I see Robert Subia in the chat. He was another awesome guy in that snare line, so I wanted to make sure pointed him out. So
okay,
good to hear from you, Subia.
A bit of trivia. We'll throw it out to the chat, and then I'm sure you guys remember. But in 1999, how many shows did Pacific Crest win in Division II in 1999? How many shows did Pacific?
How many did we win?
Yeah, how many did you win? Not how many. Let me ask this quick: how many did? What was it? What was the competitive season like for Pacific Crest in 1999? See if anybody.
So are we supposed to wait for the answers to pop up?
We're going to see if anybody in chat can knows the record, because when Pacific Crest first started competing, their first year they actually didn't even get to compete. In 1993, they weren't even competing. It was just an exhibition. But in '94 and on, they were in Division 2, 3. I don't even, were they Division 3 at one point? I don't even know, but all Division 2, I think.
Yeah,
so.
96 we were Division 3. We had 5 people in the color guard. I'll never forget that.
I think
we had different branded drums in the drum line. They were all different brands.
Okay, we see it in the chat, guys. Did you lose any shows in 1999?
Nope.
Won every single one of them, including what was back then DCI Pacific Division. There was a division for the region. So
San Jose.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
What's that like beating the Mandarins? Just because I never got a chance to do that. I lost to them the years I was marching. So.
Well, Mandarins was still a small corps. They were more of the powerhouse from the early '90s.
They were Div 3.
The 90s.
Yeah, they were Division 3 at the time still. So
yeah, They were quality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they did win a lot.
We definitely worked hard. So what Tim was saying too, like we were so motivated that it's really hard for me to separate the hard work that I gained from drum corps from anything other than PC 99. Because I did a full tour at Glassman. I got great instruction there as well. But man, there was so much like do it yourself. There were so many times where we would just run off and we'd learn the spree off our left hand. We started making things difficult for no reason. But the standard was always, our best ability, and we didn't make excuses. It was really a great chance for me. I felt like, even though I got my butt kicked the previous year somewhere else, it was really seeing the 7 of us in that snare line. We had to do it, and it's carried with me since. I remember Henkel would show up, and we always just. What's the term? We really perked up.
Thank you for trying to keep it clean.
Wake up, everybody. Yeah. He was very motivational. We'll put it that way. And Jimmy was a math teacher, very technical. Damien, motivated through, I think, a lot of comedy and fear. It was very
comedic fear.
Yeah,
it was.
Like, Damien was kind of like our own personal Shaquille O'Neal, just not nearly as tall.
What was the tour like? So, for those of you who don't know, up until this point, Pacific Crest hasn't traveled outside of California. We're still, what's the tour like? What's it like, touring with a drum corps that only practices on weekends? Like a little bit about that culture and that vibe. Was that fun? Did it seem different? Did it suck?
No, I mean, obviously it wasn't an everyday thing, but I mean, I guess we had longer runs here and there. I don't remember too well. Did we actually leave home for a week ever? Go up north, maybe? No.
I don't know. I mean, it's funny. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say it was a SoCal weekend, a NorCal. No, it was a NorCal weekend. We did DVC, and then the other shows. We did the shows up there. We did SoCal, and then NorCal, and that was it. I think it was 8 shows total.
Yeah, when I think back to it,
no, that's not good.
Because I know the conversation used to always be about, PC doesn't do this big tour like all the other bigger corps and stuff. But when I think back to it now, especially having done both, like this shorter local only in California and then a full tour, I really, I don't even think back to it as, oh man, I wish we. Like as if that had a massive effect. Like intellectually, I understand if we would have rehearsed more and had an extra month on the road. I understand if we would have been a different corps at the end. But when I think back to it 20 years later, I feel like the effect it's had on me professionally, personally, musically is the same as the very next summer when I was on a full tour.
I love this. Undefeated in all 50 states. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect, man.
Yeah.
We would go up Sunday for the full corps rehearsal, drive home, and Brian and I lived in San Diego at the time, so we drive the 110 miles home. I remember that drive like the back of my hand. We drive home, go back up for Monday night rehearsals, and then drive back home. Why we didn't just stay up there?
Because we're studious, Christopher. We had coursework at our college, and as you can tell, the intellectual beings we have become, and it's paid off.
And I made it through college in no time at all.
They're called doctors.
Yeah, they're called doctors. Yeah. Well, I do think there's something important that you guys are all hitting upon, that something that's still in the drum corps today, and that's that culture that a lot of the members in the 90s developed. That yes, okay, we only rehearsed on big ones, big deal. The idea that you were expected to perform at a certain level and to do your job at a certain level was like I just love to hear that was already happening in 99. Mm-hmm. We talked about it. Adrian even talked about it happening in 93 and 94. Like right from the start, you were. This is the demand. This is where the level needs to be at. And that still exists in the culture today, which is kind of crazy. It's survived, getting closer to 30 years here now. It's over 25,
Actually, I would say the first time I ever experienced a member group of any sort, whether that's in a class or a sports team or anything, where the members were a big part of that culture shift and the demand of excellence alongside this instructional staff. But from feeling it within, that was the first time I'd ever been a part of that, ever. I thought, I'll march Pacific Crest, and then I'll try to go march in the cadets, and that's when I'll really feel it. I did feel it there, but it started at PC. It was very much that year. It was 96, 97 felt like that was still, it's hard to believe that the Corps was only a few years old back then, and even now, it's been so long, but even now when I walk up and I see just a thing like a food truck, I'm just like, God, they got a food truck. I was even on staff for many years with the food truck, and every day I would waddle over to get coffee. I was still like, God, they got a food truck here. It's amazing. Chris and I used to put the drums in the trunk of the car and grab McDonald's on the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The idea of an equipment truck still blows my mind as well. I'm right there with you, dude. That's it's amazing. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick.
You just stare at it like.
No, go ahead. What'd you say, Chris?
Oh, I'm just saying. You look at it and you just like, wow, it's like it's your own truck. You're like, I helped do that.
So just for taking a look at a couple of quick photos, where do you think this might have been? I would just like this like a rehearsal of some sort. Photos from 1990.
That looks like Gar High School in Cerritos.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was.
Guys, look at Rodney in those 1990s shorts.
Yeah. We only did 2 camps back then, and one of them was Memorial Day, and there was one before that, I forget. And I think that might have been Memorial Day at Gar High School.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Here are y'all again. How many? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who was center snare in '99?
Oh,
Lonnie Miller.
Lonnie Miller.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. And to the previous point about being motivated from within, that was the same camp at Gar. And fortunately, it's between, I think, the 91 and the 605. So we could rehearse as late as we wanted without interrupting any neighbors.
That's right.
And we blew it that night. Like I think it was Friday night, and we were rehearsing, I think, till 10. And then we had to go in, snack. We were supposed to go lights out, and we said, screw it. And the whole battery went out, and we rehearsed, I think, until about 2 a.m. It was either midnight or 2 a.m. But yeah. Oh, we weren't going to go to bed Memorial Camp with that garbage we had just rehearsed with. So we said, screw it. We're getting better. We're going to make it happen. And we did. And that's probably one of the 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Tim,
it's one of like the 3 times of marching that I got better after a weekend. It was crazy.
What is your snare wrapped in, Tim? What is that?
It's a towel.
Oh, it's just a towel. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
this was back when we had to make our own covers and stuff. I don't even remember why we didn't, but the rest of us didn't have them on. But I remember that Lonnie had that cheerleader skirt on, which was hilarious because we used to kind of make fun of him. Yeah. Because he always had to make sure his hair was styled perfectly before he went out to rehearsal, and we always thought that was
talking about perfect hair.
Yeah, I think this is back at Diamond Bar. This looks like it's a performance.
That's Diamond Bar. Yeah,
that's Diamond Bar.
Back when there was
now
grass.
It's like that padded.
Yeah.
It's not grass anymore, right? It's like that padded.
Yeah, it's like it almost feels like a trampoline. Yeah. And then what? I think this maybe this is RCC. It kind of looks like it, but I
think so.
Yeah, thick grass. That's RCC. Small stands at the back.
It's hard to tell in some of these pictures, but Lonnie's, you can kind of tell in this one, Lonnie's drum is a totally different drum. It's not part of the set. It's a different color. This was like a brighter silver, and ours were like those reflective gray. The Blue Devil snare drums from a few years prior.
Yeah,
I think.
94, 95, yeah.
This'll take it back. I remember I picked up his drum from the West Coast Drum Center. They wrapped it in that silver color for us.
That's right.
That's a shop that doesn't exist anymore. But that was like the go-to drum shop in SoCal. So they wrapped that white drum in a lighter silver color for us, and I went and picked it up.
I have this picture here framed in my office.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at the left hands. That's perfect angles.
For a variety of reasons. One is, in drumming, left hand rotation's a big deal, and this looks really good. One of my favorite summers ever, but I'm embarrassed to admit it, but this is one of the few pictures of me. It's a lot, but as drummers, we call it performances. This is one of the rare pictures of me performing where my mouth is closed.
You're not mouth breathing.
Catching flies.
He's a mouth breather.
We all just look
folks.
so focused. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's normally a mouth breather.
That was Walnut that year.
Yeah.
Mount Sac.
Mount Sac,
Yeah.
good old home show. I think that's I think that's one of the tough things, but at least one of the things I love about this weekend usually is that most of Pacific Crest folks are sharing their home show photos or sharing their photos from whatever year they marched and things like that. But this would usually be a time where if you're not in Southern California, but this is the RCC show, it's what has been Citrus, Mount Sac, now Rose Bowl, all these shows for the weekend. And it's unfortunately, this is the way we have to be gathering, but at least we get a chance to hang out a little bit.
Sure. Robert Suby is on here mentioning about how everyone had goatees except for Lonnie. I feel so bad saying this because Lonnie's not even here, but I think it might have been because he couldn't grow one. Not to throw our center snare under the bus, but I maybe that might be it.
He actually was the youngest of all of us.
Yeah, that's right.
We went to his high school graduation.
That's right.
We went to his high school graduation because he missed rehearsal for it. So we went and missed rehearsal to cheer him on, yelled so many inappropriate things.
Right, we heckled at him.
Embarrassed him thoroughly, and then ripped him away from his family to come back to rehearsal.
Oh my God, guys, we're going to start wrapping this up just a little bit. So what are some final thoughts when you think back on those late 90s years, or the 1999 specifically? We'll go around the horn. Brian, final thoughts, or as you think back on those years?
I guess I was just thinking about that too. Like, it's kind of the same thing. I just think, I know I pointed out Chris and Tim because they're on the call, but like every single one of those people in that entire group, you know, really just feel really connected to them. And I see a lot of it show up in my life in every single area, you know, and I'm trying to think of people. There's a few people that you kind of lose touch from, but for the most part, everybody from that entire drum line, I'm still connected with, still talk to. Some people spend a lot of time with, and I don't know. It's just awesome to see the impact of it. And Matt, you said something when you saw that equipment. You said something about an equipment truck or a food truck, and it makes it feel like it's yours. I feel that way about PC. Every time they do anything, you know, and achieve something, it just feels like it's, I don't know, mine, or like I played a role in it in a way, you know?
Right.
So it's been pretty awesome to watch it all happen over the years.
Chris?
Yeah, I completely agree. I wouldn't have met so many great people and learned so much about, well, not just music, but myself, if it wasn't for Pacific Crest. And the fact that, like Brian said, if I get to say that I was a small part of that, it's an honor. And, you know, just like Brian and Tim, we've been a part of the organization more than just as a performer. We've done the clinics, we've been on staff. I've been donating products, and now Brian represents companies that donate products. It's just, there's so much pride and honor in being able to give back to Pacific Crest. To see an organization that doesn't just have some, you know, paper thin mission statement that says, you know, we'll benefit people. They're actually doing it. And the leadership and the board is working so hard every year to make this opportunity available to so many people. And I think it's just, I feel so lucky that, you know, I got involved with Pacific Crest.
Tim?
Everything that these two guys said kind of sums up most of what I was thinking. I will say that just the memories, really, of not just achieving goals, but like feeling really proud of them. And like we were awesome, you know, and I really like thinking back on that going, yeah, we didn't think we were any different than anybody else, you know, and it was just the memories, the fun, the shenanigans, but you know, invaluable, absolutely invaluable. And I hope that maybe once all this COVID stuff can go away, these kids can get back to it and start experiencing what we had.
Well, guys, thank you so much. One thing I always feel fortunate that I still get to see you all. Like, you know, we get what's to your point. There's something. There's definitely a bond that from marching, drum, and bugle corps, and the fact that you get to still see people. Obviously, you guys work in the industry. Tim teaching, our wives or friends, all that kind of stuff. So, thank you so much for resharing some 99 memories, and thanks for being here and making this whole thing possible. So, thanks, guys. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, man.
No problem. Thanks,
okay.
Matt.
So,
thanks, Matt.
Hey, thank you guys. So everyone here, thank you so much. There are a lot of donations that have come in, so I have to catch up a little bit here. We're going to read some donations really quick, and we will, first of all, geez Louise, okay. So we actually had a donation match, but it's already been hit, so I'm going to go ahead and announce it now, which is pretty awesome. Thank you so much to Warren and Debbie Carr, who pledged $200. Thank you so much. And we also, we needed to reach $500 to get a donation match by Kemi Endo, who is a former member and staff member of Pacific Crest. And she, $500 from Kemi Endo. So thank you so much for your donation. Man, what else? Okay, so many more coming. Let's see. We have a dude, Dan. I saw you in the Dan's in the chat. Dan Huss, thank you so much for the $250. Go crush it, PC, Mr. San Diego, from a fantastic 2005. Dan, it's so great to see you. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but thank you so much, dude, for that huge donation, man, and making this whole thing possible. You rock, and it's awesome to see you, sir. Let's see. We have a $100 donation from Carla Gossel that says, love you, PC. Well, we love you back as well. Thank you so much, Carla. Really do appreciate that. So many people in the chat. So much love in the chat, guys. It's really nice to see you all. And let's see. Okay. We have a $50 donation from Diana Pedersen, who is our current board president. And fortunately, I get to basically work with Diana almost every week, it seems like. So let's get this started. She's a PC alum from 1999 to 2001 and then 2003. Thank you so much, Diana, for the $50 donation. And here we go, Emmanuel Del Olmo, who I think this must be, I wonder if I saw you in the chat, Emmanuel, but thank you so much for the $10. Greetings from Texas. Congrats on the amazing show in 2019, and I hope you make another another banger in 2021. Hey, we're gonna try. I have a lot of ideas already on the table. For the design team's already hard at work at 21. I can tell you that right now. Gabe Kobas as well. Gabe Kobas, $100, saying, thank you for continuing to provide an amazing life-changing experience for those who thirst for drum corps. Well, thank you so much, Gabe. Gabe is also a former... Gabe, were you the corps director? Is that what we called you? I don't even... Because I forget some of the titles, but I know Gabe did a lot of different jobs with the drum corps. It's great to see you, man. I hope you're having a good one. And let's see. And then, dude, Phantom Ace. Josh. Hey, I saw Josh in the chat. How you doing, man? Thank you so much for the $100. 2010 and 11 PC snare player. Seeing 3 of your old instructors all at once Twitch is pretty great. Miss you, dudes, and hope all is well. Well, it's great to thank you so much, Josh, for the $100. Folks, if you're on Twitch, Josh has an awesome stream. It's Phantom Ace. Go follow him. It's a lot of fun, and highly recommend his. Oh, man, we have more coming in. Okay, I haven't even updated these on the stream yet. Let's get them in while we can. Trevor White, holy cow, donates $500. Dude, Trevor, thank you so... Alumni as well. Thank you so much, Trevor, for the $500. That's crazy. Okay, I got to get these on the tally here. Then we have another $250 from Amber East that says, shout out to your favorite contractor, Teresa Anderson. You're going to see her in just a little bit. Teresa's on the stream tonight. So thank you so much, Amber, for the $250. Whew, okay, so many. Whew, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to bump that donation. I know. So this is the thing, folks. If we hit the 2,500, we have some flex goals. So yes, this is a fundraising thing, and we're really hoping that we can bring in obviously as much as we can, because once again, the season didn't happen. So our normal Rose Bowl show, which is a big fundraiser for the event, didn't happen. But I have a feeling we're gonna hit this, and we're gonna keep flexing this thing. So the more you give, the more goals and incentives we have. Pretty excited now, folks. So first of all, let's hit a quick trivia question to the chat. Here's an easy one, okay? The trivia is going to start off easy tonight, and then I don't know if it'll get more difficult, but at least it gets a little more interesting as this goes along. Easy one. Where was Pacific Crest founded? Easy. What's the city? Just give us the city name. You can write it out in the chat. Oh, we got to get you guys in the raffles too. We got to start the raffle here before we move on as well. So where was Pacific Crest founded? This is just for fun. Easy question. There we go, Stewart's house. That's not far off, right? Maybe Carter's house. Apparently, that is right. Diamond Bar, California. Diamond Bar, California. Okay, so we're going to leave that up for just a second. I need to hit over to here, and we have our thing. Okay, cool. So we have a lot of people already entered. This is great. Folks, here's what you need to do. So we're going to be doing a bunch of really cool giveaways today. We have a bunch of really cool giveaways. And just so I make sure I get all of the prizes and the raffle items correct, when we hit certain donation goals, we're going to give we're already far behind. We have 3 $50 PC gift cards. We have a bunch of PS4 stuff, which is awesome. MLB The Show 2020, we're giving away 2 different controllers, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Spider-Man, the new hotness, The Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, a couple of more controllers, and the grand prize, we are giving away a PS4 Pro if we reach $2,500 raised. I think we're going to get there, so I think we're giving everything away. Here's how you do. Here's how you enter. All you have to do is type in PC in the chat, and you get entered in. You don't have to be here for the whole stream. We'd love to see you, obviously stay. But if you enter PC in the chat, you're automatically entered into this raffle. Anybody can enter the raffle, and we'll be picking winners throughout the stream. So all you got to do is type in PC, and that you are automatically entered. And look at this. Okay, it's already coming in. Nightbot is telling me that there's a bunch of stuff already entered. Awesome. Doesn't matter uppercase, lowercase, just type in PC and you are automatically entered. awesome. We're seeing more and more people enter. And you can do this throughout the entire stream. You're going to hear me say this a couple more times, but just know that this will be happening throughout the entire stream. And we're going to move on into our next year. Before we give out anything, we'll do a giveaway right after the next chunk. Speaking of the next year. Okay, so for those of you many of you who are hanging out tonight already know a lot of this story, but I think it's important that we kind of go over it anyway. So in 2000, the drum and bugle corps toured for the first time out. If you win, you'll give it to Stalker. Nice fan base. The drum corps started touring outside of California, and in 2000, for those of you that were marching that time period with me, we marched together. We actually went to Texas for our first time, and it was a huge deal because it was our first chance getting to compete in Division I, which is now the world class, but back then it was called Division I. Ryan Johnson, what's up, dude? How you doing, man? And Chris, look at so many awesome people in the chat. And after we did that, we got to, most of the 2000 season, we were competing in Division II, but we went to Texas. We were competing in Division I, and we got to leave we went on I think it was like a week, maybe it was like 5 days. I don't remember exactly how long it was, but for those of you who were on that trip, you might remember the pool and all some of the other, the roaches that were the size of your face. It was a really awesome and exciting time to be a part of the Drum and Bugle Corps. And I have to give really big and special shout outs to our instructional staff at the time, who really did a good job of making it feel like that was a really big and important deal to us who were marching that year. I can still think, yes, the fire ants, dude. Oh my God, fire ants in Texas are a real thing. So it's pretty exciting that it was an exciting time in the Drum and Bugle Corps because it really felt like things were starting to grow. By the time 2000, like the next year in 2001, we had 10 Contras. And for those of us who the year before or even previous to that, just having 10 Contras made us groups that had won the world championship were marching with 10 Contras. So it's like, oh man, this is great. Drum Corps is really growing and things just felt like they were moving in the right direction. And I think a lot of that all really goes towards what happened in 2003, which the powers that be, Stuart and everyone else decided, hey, you know what, let's try and get this thing to world champs. And the way that they decided to do that was to fly in, do a week. It wasn't even a week, I don't even know, but they decided to fly in for the World Championships week. We're going to show a little short clip, and when we come back, we are going to be joined by some people who marched in the 2003 season. Here is a little bit of 2003.
Hey, Matt.
Hey. Yo.
And there is a little bit of Pacific Crest 2003. Okay, super excited. Let me unmute him so you can actually hear him. To be joined by, let me click over to here. Oh, there we go. Here we have Joey Valenzuela, Sean Enright, and Bill Fritz. How you all guys doing?
What's up, guys?
I love the green screen shot. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I don't know what's going on. I didn't do that on purpose.
Bill, how you doing? Joey, good to see you guys. How you guys doing?
You too. Doing good.
Man.
Okay, once again, feel like I know everybody on here. This is awesome. This is great. 2000. Who do we start? Joey, let's start with you. Joey, what was your first year marching Pacific Crest? I can't even remember now at this point.
2001.
Okay.
2001, 2, and 3.
So you saw some tremendous growth with the drum corps. What's it like seeing it from 2001 and then finally doing the thing in 2003?
It's funny because I was kind of dragged into it kicking and screaming, and I was dragged out of it kicking and screaming. That's kind of the story I always tell about my drum corps experience, because I wasn't quite 100% sure what it was. So I had friends who were auditioning, like, hey, you should come too. They ended up quitting. I ended up staying. And then 3 years later, I left in tears. But it was really cool to watch the growth and the change that was happening. You can see it was a trajectory. It was definitely an upward thing for them. And it was cool to be a part of that, to be a part of their first year in Division One, to be able to go to DCI finals for the first time. It was all kind of surreal, like looking back on it. I wish I would have known more going into it and what it is that we were doing.
Right. I do have to say, so somebody in the chat pointed out the color guard woo. It seems like how many years have a color guard woo in it? I'm just wondering.
Before my time, I can tell you that it was taught to me. So, I mean, because especially back in those, I mean, when I marched, there was always every year such a strong return rate in the color guard that there was just so much like history and tradition. Like I never knew where it came from. I just knew this is what we did. And that's what it was. And that's okay.
So, Bill, was 2003 your first year? I don't even remember. What's your first year of drum corps?
It was. 2003 was my rookie year.
What got you into? That's, by the way, it seems like you marched for 10 years. But what decided? What was the thing that got you to end up doing this thing and doing the drum corps thing?
You remember Phil Mendenhall?
Oh, I don't know.
He marched at PC in '99 and 2000.
Okay.
I think 2000 might have just been. Hold on. I think it was just 99 actually, but he was my mellophone section leader and at Upland, and he was just like, yeah, you should go for it. And actually, the funny thing is, Janie Hawley got to Upland in 2002, fall 2002.
Okay.
He was our visual caption head and ended up writing the drill for Upland for years. And he was like my biggest inspiration to go and try out for the Blue Devils and like do all that stuff. And then when I graduated, he was like, you should go try out for PC and do this. And I was like, all right, cool, let's do this. And so I did. And I was 17 and didn't know anything. And I thought, dude, I was such a cocky, like.
Oh, wait, you had a little bit of an ego or thing? Is that what you're saying? I don't understand.
It might have been a little bit.
That I was going to go to PC and it was going to be super easy because I had tried at the Blue Devils and I got a call back and blah, blah, blah. And I got, and it was the hardest summer. Like, I didn't quit, but I kept going. Like, it was just one of those, yeah, it was rough.
But I think that's one of the great things about drum corps is like, that like, it really humbles you because you're around people who can do the gig pretty damn well. So it's like,
100%. And like, we get those kinds of kids all the time, like over at Gold, right, Joey? Where it's just like, they come in, it's going to be super easy. And they're like, there's a rough way because it's drum corps, man. It's hard.
It's hard. Doesn't matter how good you are. It's a hard activity to say the least.
100%.
Definitely.
Sean, you'd been marching for a couple of years, right? At this point in 2003?
Yeah. So my very first day of Pacific Crest stuff, I actually came to the 1999 workshops. So I was there in the 90s, just by that much. But again, I think I kind of pushed out, didn't stick around for that 2000 season. But I did come back. 2001 was my first year, so I'd been around a couple of years. Third year, I was really excited about heading to Orlando. This was a big move for us. Yeah.
There's something I feel like ends up being a strength for the drum and bugle corps. But like early on, basically we would take anybody at PC. It didn't matter if you played a brass instrument or the drum line you had to try out for because there's a lot of, drum corps always been that way. But I remember bonding with Sean pretty quickly because like he was a trombone player and there weren't many low brass players actually in the low brass section. So it was just kind of cool to actually have somebody who played the instrument. Not knocking anybody else that we marched with. I'm just saying that it was a different experience.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Okay,
so play louder then.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. I got a chance.
Nobody yelled at us.
Yeah, nobody yelled at us. It was great. Tell us a little bit about the 2003 season. Like, are we still rehearsing weekends? To be honest, I wasn't a PC member at that time. So what's the schedule like at that point?
Yeah, I remember it being weekends. I remember having to drive, like carpool to all the Southern California shows. 5 or 6 people in my 94 Honda Civic hatchback.
Oh yeah, lots of carpooling.
I remember that. Yeah, but I remember being weekends only because I do remember going home and I remember coming back to rehearsals being like, God, I really wish I didn't get to go home because I totally don't want to, like, I didn't want to go home and at the same time I also didn't want to come back. But once I was home and once I was back, I was fine. But I just wished, so we were still doing weekends. Yeah.
It was still the Sunday thing. It was every Sunday starting in like November, December, or whenever. Yeah. And it was like basically by February we knew who hadn't cut themselves and what drum corps we had. But we were still, and then we would have like one weekend camp a month, and then May we would have a Memorial camp and a May camp, like weekend, and I think some of those we were still going home at night, like they weren't even stayover camps. And then we would have maybe 2 trips to the Northern California, or 1 trip, and then the 01 and 02 we did the Pacific Northwest trips. But again, just weekend trips throughout the summer. I mean, we were also working during the week and summer school and all that.
Yeah, it was much different back then. It was easier to just, it was weird. It was almost like drum corps became your part-time life as opposed to your full-time life that it is now. So it was, to me as a young performer, like that was what drew me to it. I could still have a life. I could still work. I could still go to school. I could still teach. So that's kind of what drew me to it at the same time.
So Stuart has shared some of the demographics of the drum corps, and we were much older back in the early 2000 and earlier because of the part-time schedule, people who couldn't commit to a full tour and stuff like that. Yet the drum corps was still highly competitive that year, and part of that was the color guard has some really great performances. Joey, what was clicking with the color guard? Why was that group of people so successful?
I think we had a very strong group of vets. We had a lot of people. I mean, we didn't have a captain that year. That's one of the interesting things that we had about the color guard that year. We had a brand new staff in 2003. Peter Gomez was with us through 2002, and then Jeff Starrett and his team took over in 2003. So a lot of the older vets, Stephanie Colby, now Trusa. Who else was in there with me? There was quite a few of us that had been around for a while. Carrie, so we had been around for a long time, and we just kind of knew what we wanted. We knew the tone we wanted to set. So there was kind of, in my eyes personally, like Stephanie was our captain, and she was relentless in the best way possible. Don't get me wrong, but
I thought she was.
Yeah, exactly. We never had a captain, but we all turned to her because she was, the most seasoned vet, and we kind of all drove each other, and that was what made it interesting. We had some really good, talented people in the color guard that year that went on to do big color guard things. Some people of them are still like big in the dance world. So it was just a special group of people because there was so much talent. There was a lot of drive, and I think from the top down, from members, we kind of never let anyone behind. We had age outs. I think there was 6 age outs in the color guard that year alone. We had some 15-year-olds, and it was a wide range, I'll say that much, but there was definitely a good, strong talent base, and there was definitely a good, strong leadership amongst the members. So,
Bill, I'm curious, from you starting, you're young, you're just out of high school, stuff like that. What are there any things that once you have finished the season, what are some the takeaways you took about doing a first season of drum corps?
Well, that drum corps is unlike anything else that I had ever been a part of, and I had been marching band for 4 years, so you'd think it'd be similar. But it's absolutely insane, and it's one of those things that you fall in love with, and you kind of never fall out of love with it. And when I knew that I wanted to continue to do it as much as I could until I aged out, and so that was a really big takeaway. Another takeaway was that I had to figure out a way to practice my saxophone more. Because I totally screwed up an audition when I got to Cal State Fullerton that fall, but everything was fine. I was 17 and thought I knew a lot, so I figured it out.
I'm curious, what's the experiencing up until this point? Pacific Crest really maybe they had flown some places. Did we fly to the Pacific Northwest? I can't remember. Come to think of it,
no, we had bus.
We had bus. Okay,
yeah.
We flew.
So
we flew to the Pacific Northwest,
but we haven't gone to the East Coast, right? We haven't gone to Florida.
We beat our sleeping gear there.
That's right.
The sleeping gear was that was 01. 02 maybe we flew both times. I know because on the chat, I was going to say something. There was no social media at that time, right. But at that time we at least got to go on incognito and pretend to be someone else and argue with people who were talking crap about Pacific Crest for flying and for only doing it on the weekends, as if that was some advantage, Right. I remember Spirit telling us Cavaliers got brand new buses this year. There's so much disadvantage to the way we did things. So
totally. Tell us a little bit about Championships Week, the first time going. I've heard a lot of stories and things about that because it's emotional for age outs, the whole type of thing. But even just our first time going, if anybody wants to share some stories, I'm curious about that week.
Well, Matt, I don't know if you have I sent you a picture.
Yes, I can share it. Absolutely. Let's start showing them.
Yeah, me and you and Walt, who was our marching instructor. So in 2002, we finished the season. A lot of people would go and then, there's a little...
Yeah. The recaps. Oh my God.
Blurbs about us before we had hit the road.
But here's the score, 79.3, 17th place. Not by much, too. It's close. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is that semis? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's semis, yeah.
I wanted to see where the color guard was after quarters. That's the whole reason we got in the finals, really. So
We were the color guard ended up being 10th in quarters.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, with I think like a 17-1.
Oh,
I'm gonna go real quick. Yeah, this is
So in 2002, me and another guy in the horn line went with Walt, our marching instructor, out to watch finals at Camp Randall in Madison, Wisconsin. And the whole time I'm just sitting on my hands like, we should be doing this. We had already finished our drum corps season just a few
that's
weeks
from 02. Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's 2002, if you can tell by the color of your medal. I don't know. But
embarrassing a little bit, sorry.
But this was me just like, this is the last time I'm going to be on this field as a spectator. But we knew at that time that we were going to be jumping and doing it. I think right then, Walt wanted some of us to see like what it was like, so we weren't just like overwhelmed. But it's pretty overwhelming. All those buses lined up. I mean, I'd never seen that many drum corps in a row. Like, I'd only seen these drum corps, period, on PBS. Maybe a couple of them would come out west for us, but like, and maybe PBS was where they used to show finals. But yeah, it was from Pacific Northwest. There's Chris Cowling, a bunch of skinny kids. Oh, Andy Schumacher.
I went to high school with both these guys. What's the guy on the left's name? I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah. Oh, man.
I went to high school with both of them. So, dang it, I can't remember their names.
I don't know. He was only there that year.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, dang it.
Pikes Market, yeah. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. And then here's what's this one? This one looks like
that's in Seattle. That's at the Husky Stadium. Going on the field. That must be 02 though.
Yeah, so cool. And then here's so this
is we put a mixed ensemble together to
Dan Delgado.
Bill, look at it.
So yeah, there's Bill. Bill mentioned being a rookie and being overwhelmed. He reminded me a few days ago that he forgot his music for the INE performance when we traveled.
Yeah.
And there he is closing his eyes in the picture.
Dude, by the way, the guy next to me, Ryan Dark, he's now the principal trumpeter for the LA Opera. That dude is ridiculous.
No way, really?
Wow.
UCLA the same day, and I knew he was going to just be like...
Dan Delgado's still a professional, still playing. I mean, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah, Dan, I mean, I got to give Dan credit for this whole thing. He was the soloist. It was Arturo Sandoval piece. It was all him, and we just played like a big band behind him. You can see in the bottom there, Phil Anzarillo. He's been around.
Phil's a band director. Yeah. Jordan, I marched with Jordan, and then Andy I went to high school with, who's in the drum corps as well.
Andy's in the chat. I saw him out there reminding us.
Andy, what's up?
So one real quick thing about the horn line this year. This was when we really felt like pros because we were on Dynasty B-flat horns.
Yeah, that's right.
So the rule changed in like 99 or 2000, but I was still playing the years before this on 2-valve G bugles, the same one that Dr. Rochford bought, to the years before that. So it was a big change. There was a lot of stuff that made us feel really cool that year.
Right there. And I remember seeing you guys out on the field in 03, and I'm like, they're wearing gold medals. I thought it was like the coolest thing ever that this mix. Bill, how long had you been playing mellophone at this point? Couldn't have been long.
Well, yeah, because I never marched in the women's section at Upland, so I was in the brass line the entire time. So the way it happened was in junior high school, I ended up getting I went to a junior high school where my junior high teacher was my saxophone instructor, and then the deal for her was like, all right, well, we need to fill out some of the other sections. So do you want to play French horn, euphonium, or tuba? And I'm like, I'll play French horn. My uncle played French horn, all this stuff. So I started playing that, and then when I got to high school, Mike Collins at Upland High School was just, hey, you want to play the brass line instead of the woodwind section? I'm like, absolutely. So did that, and then so I basically just did saxophone and jazz wind ensemble, and then marching band. It was fully like its other thing. I'm going to play mellophone. So that was my probably 5th season actually playing. But man, got so much better that summer. Wow.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Chris Cowling is there, and I think he literally might have just played cowbell. Like we had him, and like Bill was one of the boys by then. Like we just really liked him, knew he was a good musician. Like let's just put this together and and just have fun with it.
Well, it was
what would happen. Yeah,
it was Brian Belsky, right? Because we went to Rancho Santa Margarita High School. Because our instruments got shipped.
Yeah, where I went. Yeah, Brian Belsky was my band director, so he's the reason I know about it.
Got it.
That's right. So then we went there and rehearsed a bunch, and then
on band instruments.
Right.
Like, that was when we went back and just had, because we had shipped our horns already. As Andy brought up in the chat, we had shipped the horns or trucked our equipment truck across, and we had loaded up our sleeping bags and stuff in the wedges of the equipment truck.
Yeah.
And then.
Crazy.
So when we flew out there, however long it took him to get across the country,
Mark Kavin says that was the first ever I&E championship in PC history. It was the first time we'd ever participated in I&E.
Yeah,
we
remember Santa Clara Vanguard by 10 points or something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It was great. It was cool.
Yeah.
I remember we had a lot of
it was such a hype. It was so fun.
We had a lot of good I&Es that year. Remember that's the year Corwin went in on tenors and played with Fly Swatters. I don't know if you remember that.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That was
awesome.
I figured that was just like we were just so excited to be there. I think anyone did just about anything they could in I&E just for the fun of it, and and some people had fun with it. Kind of put together. Look at that.
Hey, there you go. There it is.
I keep it in my pocket. I didn't just have it set it aside. Yeah.
That's so awesome. One of the things, and as we start to wrap this up, because we've got more years coming up, all of you are still involved in this activity. Joey and Bill, you guys are still, Bill's band director. Joey you guys work at Gold together. What are some of the things that you take away from drum corps that makes you still want to stay involved and keep doing this today? And I'll start with Joey.
I think for me, I want to give kids an experience that I enjoyed. So I try to kind of replicate that in my own way. I absolutely loved my 3 years at PC. I wish I would have done more. There's so much I wishes about drum corps. Sure. So, nowadays for me, it's giving kids that experience. And I think I teach a lot like the way I learned from my staff at PC. I had some amazing staff members, Peter Gomez, Michael McNulty, Jeff Starrett, Annette Deming, Pam Carchidi, tons of John Escalante used to come and do a lot of our choreography or movement choreography. Cool. So it was just really cool to have that plethora, I guess, of different experiences. Because for me, I'm really about the underdog because turns out when I made PC my first year, I was that underdog. It sounds kind of mean, but I remember Peter Gomez came up to me at the end of the 01 season. He's like, "You were our project." And in a way, some people that might be like, wow. But for me, it was like, well, he took a chance. Yeah. Had he never taken a chance, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I would have never gotten the experience I did. So for me, it's just giving back to kids to have that experience now and, let them propel forward. And, sometimes giving that project the chance. Like Bill will tell you, there's a lot of times at Gold, I kind of fight for some kids to do some things that probably shouldn't. But because at some point, somebody gave me a chance. So at some point, I'd like to give kids a chance too. So.
That's awesome. Bill?
Drum corps is one of those things that I think it's pushed me harder than any other activity. And it, next to, it's right up there with when I got my master's degree and I was in a session every week with a really, really smart person, just getting torn apart. This needs to change and this needs to change and it's got to be better. With drum corps, it's the next hour has got to be better. Right. The next day has got to be better. And so I think what's really great about it is that it pushes you to do things you never thought you could do. And it sounds cliche, but it's the truth. And we, as a band director, there are a lot of times recently where, kids have quit, gets a little hard and they quit, and it's becoming more and more. And it drives me absolutely nuts. Try our best to be supportive, but it makes me sad because I wish they could all have that drum corps experience of almost feeling like I can't do this, and then coming out the other end going, "Hey, remember when you couldn't do that and now you can do it?" There's nothing more fulfilling, more humbling than that, and that's what drum corps gives almost everybody, unless you quit. But don't quit.
You cut yourself.
Oh, well said, Bill. Sean?
Yeah, so you guys in the earlier group were talking about how it was a place that you could march one year, go somewhere else, and it was always a home you could come back to. So like on the Ultimate Story, it stretched over 20 years, and at this point, marching 4 years. Then I ended up coming back 07 and 08, part of 07 and all of 08, teaching euphoniums and brass. And then I moved to Chicago and went there for law school, ended up staying, practicing law. I ended up being a whole 10 years away from the activity. And moving back, it's given me an excuse to put off being a lawyer for a while. I don't know, some of you have been around the Corps in the last couple of years, have seen me hanging around doing all kinds of random stuff. I feel like it's a different thing every time I show up. But again, it just goes to show that it's that welcoming home, And I think Carter Schultz says at the beginning that I was the Corps director, but he was out there flipping pancakes and stuff. I came in here to play loud, baritone, and here I am like doing all kinds of admin, driving trucks and stuff for the drum course. So you never know what you're going to give or get out of this thing. So anyone that thinks that they've been away too long or they're disconnected, just take that out of your head and come back and figure out where you fit in.
Well said, Sean. And I still think you made a mistake leaving the arts for becoming a lawyer. I don't know what you were thinking. I just kidding. No.
I got my silent brass system coming tomorrow, so I'm back on that thing.
Joey, Bill, and Sean, thank you so much for being here and reliving some of these moments. I have so many fond memories of seeing all you guys during those years, even the years that I may have been wandering in the in the sand somewhere. But thank you guys so much for joining, and thank you. Well said, and Sean. Like Sean says, there's always volunteer opportunities. I promise you when you get back. So
we'll figure out a place.
Thanks guys for being here. I appreciate it.
Hey guys, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Bye everybody.
Take it easy.
Okay, folks. So we have had so much happen so far. I don't even know where to start. There's been a lot of donations that have come in, and I will catch up on those. But we need to do some giveaways here, folks, because we already have so many. If you want to enter the giveaway, anybody can enter in the chat. Just type in PC and you will be entered. If you already entered it in a long time ago, it stays in. It stays in forever. So just know that we have plenty of opportunities. So I'll give you guys like 30 seconds here. Get those in, and and this is exciting, folks. We've already blown out the $2,500 goal. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for blowing out that goal. We'll have a video here in just a second to celebrate. Mark Gunderson. Hello, Mr. Gunderson. One of my personal stories that I love sharing is that one of the first things, I think many people probably had this similar experience, but just being blown away by the staff that was around at PC throughout its history. When I started in 2000, it was Mark, it was Dale, it was Rudy, it was Walt, and it was Don, and it was for me in the brass line. I was blown away by all this wonderful instruction I have, and I'm so fortunate that I get to call a lot of these people my friends. So thank you all. PC, doesn't matter, uppercase, lowercase, you're always in there. There you go. Right, exactly. Get it in there twice. Why not? This is great. We have over 60 people already signed up, so this is great. And so the first things we're gonna give away are, let's see here. I say like drum roll, please, but that's another button that I'd have to press, and this is streaming things sometimes ain't easy. So, okay. If you're not in for this first one, don't worry. We got plenty more coming up. So. Where is the raffle prize? Okay, so the first one, we're giving away a PC gift card. PC gift card for $50, $50. And let's see what our giveaway says. Let's go ahead and roll it. Mark Gunderson is Gunderson. How is that even possible? I was just talking about Mark and he's the first person to win. Oh my God, that's it. Was like Nightbot listening to me or something? That's just creepy. Okay, so, well, congratulations, Mark. Don't worry. Here's what I will do. I will contact you all. If you're on Twitch, we're going to send you a Twitch whisper. If you're not, we'll reach out to you. We need to get your email address so we know where to send the prizes and stuff like that. Okay, here, I'm going to put on Mark Gunderson. I need to copy your screen name. Hang on just 1 second so we get this properly done. Okay, let's do another one. And, hang on a second. Okay, let's make sure I can do this again. And let's roll one more. The next winner is Murdilv. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly. You've just won another gift card. We have one more gift card. Oh, look at that. You're in the chat. Awesome. Great. Fantastic. Congratulations. Thank you so much for watching and supporting today. This is awesome, folks. I'll get you a updated total here in just a sec. Let's see. Yes. Stuart, if you're still out there in the chat, you know what you could do? If you wouldn't mind just sending me some donation totals we've had totaled, so I can keep updating, because it's way more than I was expecting. So it's a lot to keep track of. Let's do one more giveaway, folks. And this is for another $50 PC gift card. Let's go ahead and roll it. And I don't even know how to pronounce. Let's see. Let's say Katie, or maybe it's K. I feel like I'm screwing up this screen name big time. Apologies. You are our final winner of a PC gift card. And we will. So let's see where we're at right now. Let's add that in. Okay. And so as you can see, folks, we're over $3,000. We're screaming towards, we're at $4,060. Wow. Okay, folks, we've hit the $4,000 mark. This is fantastic. Thank you all for making this happen and making it possible. That's kind of crazy. I can't believe we're already there. Was honestly, always a little nervous. Like $2,500 is a lot of money. So the fact that we're all coming through, really do appreciate it a lot, folks. Let's do this. Let's update. See where we're at. 40, 50. Hopefully, if we hit 5,000, we'll flex the goal again, folks. We will flex the goal again. So here's a pretty exciting part. So thank you so much for getting us to where we are right now. We have some very special. We're gonna have to bump it again. I like it. Yes, Stuart. Yes, let's get it up to $7,500. Before we get into our next year discussion, members of the 2020 and now the 2021 Pacific Crest have graciously shared some messages, and we'd like to share them with you. So get comfy and hear from the members of Pacific Crest 2020.
Hey, my name is Jessica Kaplan. I play the trumpet, and this is going to be my first year marching at Pacific Crest. An experience that I take away from this season was just seeing how amazing everybody was, all the members, the staff, just everyone. It was an awesome time. And I'm super excited for the 2021 season. Hardly wait. I'm so excited. It's going to be so great. I'm just ready to get back on the field and do our thing. Thank you so much for supporting Pacific Crest. Yeah, bye.
Thank you so much for supporting Pacific Crest. I think one of my personal experiences was coming into that first December audition camp and seeing around me everyone who just loved band and wanted to work hard for it and wanted to really put in the effort for it. And that made me so happy, and that really pushed me to another level. And I'm hoping in 2021 to see the show finally come together and see Pacific Crest to go to new levels that it hasn't achieved before, and really do well that season.
Hi, my name is Caitlyn Jenner. I'm a euphonium player, and this would have been my breakout season at Pacific Crest after marching one previous season of drum corps. I want to say thank you for all your support, especially during these hard times. It has impacted everyone so greatly, and honestly, Pacific Crest deserves every ounce of it, every ounce of support and every ounce of care. They're such a great organization and care so much about everyone, no matter where you're from or what you're doing. I myself am the first person from my high school to do world-class drum corps, and I'm the only member of my college band of March Pacific Crest. And it is so great to be able to extend the arms of the Crest to so many new people and show them what we're really about, and to show them how caring and loving we are. For 2021, I honestly can't wait to be able to march with all my friends I've made. And we talk every day, we make plans, but due to COVID, we've been so far apart. And we've been in the making for what's going to be a year and a half when we finally hit Indy next year. And I know that it's going to be a groundbreaking experience for us, but we just have to get there. And I honestly just can't wait to be together again. It doesn't matter where we are or what we're doing. The Crest has showed me that it's just an experience bigger than yourself. No matter what you do, there are always going to be people who care about you and will support you and show you you're better than you think. So let's keep making waves, PC.
Hi, My name's Teresa Anderson, and I've played tuba with Pacific Crest in 2018, 2019, and 2020-2021. Thank you so much for helping us prepare for the 2021 summer, and it truly means the world to all of us. I can't wait to get back out on the field and perform an incredible show with all the people that I love. Thank you so much again. Bye.
Oh, Teresa's in chat. Thank you so much for the video, Teresa. And thank you so much to the members of Pacific Crest 2020. If we hit $5,000, we will hear from them again. So let's keep the donations coming in. Speaking of donations, we have so many to thank. Okay, Mark Gunderson, thank you so much for the $250. Man, so awesome. Aaron Van Patten, thank you so much for the $50, 2015 to 2019. And then Will, 2017 to 2019. How cool is that? Let's see, we have Onder Beltron, $50. Go PC, looking forward to the 2021 season. You and me both. That season could not come fast enough. Not having drum corps, I don't know. Hey, chat, do you feel this way? Like, not having a season of drum corps, it seems like the weirdest, strangest thing ever. Since I've been alive, there has always been drum corps during the summer. And while shows have been canceled or rigged out or things like that, it's so weird not to have a season. So it's nice that at least we get a chance to hang out and gather together. Oh, here we go. Glenn John Guevara. John, what's up for $100? Glenn John. Ooh, wrong one. Let's see. No, this is Glenn, not John. Glenn, thank you so much for I'm going to get this right. Thank you so much for the $100, Glenn. 2000, 2003, and then marched in 2005. I could have sworn that Glenn was in the drum corps for 10 years. And by the way, I don't think he ever aged a day that entire time he was there. Band director as well, folks. So thank you so much, Glenn. Chris Doolittle with the $100. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you so much for making this happen. Kelly Flickinger, oh my gosh, $50. He was on the percussion staff in 2008 through 2010 with Matt Allmeyer, UCLA person, and fantastic organization. Can't wait to see the Corps next year. Kelly, thank you so much. Long time to see. I hope you're doing well. Kelly was I'm not gonna lie, Kelly was a fun hang on the bus, okay, for us who were on staff that year. So we're gonna start with leave it there. Troy Batella, thank you so much for the $50 in honor of an outstanding board of directors and the incredible leadership provided by Stuart that has made a difference in so many young persons' lives. You know, one of the things that during our first stream, we were talking about 1993 and 1994. And one of the interesting things is like a lot of drum and bugle corps were showing up and fading away, showing up and fading away. And the fact that Stuart and Carter and and Dale and everyone who was responsible for the drum and bugle corps in the early years really cared about keeping this thing around. The reason we are here today, the reason there still is a drum corps, is because of some really thoughtfulness that happened early on. So huge thank you to all those. Yes, folks, if you want to get into the giveaway, please feel free. Just type in PC in the chat and you will be entered. Brian Cross donates $300. So thankful for what PC Family has given our kids. A priceless experience. Cross family loves Pacific Crest. Well, Pacific Crest loves the Cross family. Thank you so much for that donation. Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. Phillip Mortensen, former PC board director. Go PC. Great even on Twitch. You know, Phil, I know it's not the same, Phil, as being there live, but thank you so much for the donation. Whew, okay. Robert Subia, we were talking about him earlier. Veteran from the 90s, Robert Subia at $100, really proud to have been a part of this organization, Go PC. Well, Robert, we would not be here if it weren't for people like you marching in those early years. So thank you. Earthquake Drum and Bugle Corps, yes, right? For those of you who are around in the 90s, you'll remember the San Diego Drum Corps, Division 2-3. Adrian Rivas, who, if you get a chance, watch our first stream. It was pretty awesome. But still on our board and runs the golf tournament. Perfect. Thank you, Stuart. We have a $500 donation from Adrian Rivas, current vice president of the board of directors, founding member, former drum major. What could you say about Adrian? And a person I'm thankful enough to call a friend. $500 says, so great to see so many alum on the stream. Stacy, your wife wants to call out that she was one of the first PC groupies. Ooh, from 93 to 97. Stacy, hello to you, and thank you so much to both you and your family for continuing to support even nowadays. There's basically, as far as I can remember, I think Adrian has been associated with this drum and bugle corps, just like Stuart, for every single year it's been in existence. Has had some sort of role or job. So that's pretty cool there. Okay, we're gonna take a quick pause from the donations. They're still coming in. So, and let's talk a little bit about 2007. Oh my gosh, 2007, folks. So Well, what happens in 2007? For those of you who may not have even been born in 2000, no, that's probably not bad. 2007, the Drum and Bugle Corps DCI World Championships were held here in Southern California. So what did that mean? Well, that meant that we actually got to leave the state for a little bit of a tour and then come back. It allowed financially for some things to actually happen that hadn't happened up to this point. Here are some of the highlights. World Championships held in Southern California. First and only time it's been held in Southern California. This is Pacific Crest's second time. Since their existence, this is only the second time they've made semifinals. At this point, where we've been, we're full-time Division I, and semifinals is 1st through 17th place. They hadn't expanded yet, so only 17 groups make semifinals at this point. Let's see, the Corps stayed at Arcadia High School. It felt, we actually, instead of like going home like we were doing up to this point, the Drum and Bugle Corps was actually housed all in one location. But another highlight from 07. And then we did have the PB&J Knott's Berry Farm contest, which we'll talk about in just a little bit as we bring in the people from that year. What is the name of the 2007 Pacific Crest show? It is called What Happens in Vegas. And here's a little snippet about what happens in Vegas.
In Vegas, money talks. It says goodbye.
Yes, there are judges on the field, and they seem like they want to run around all the time. Okay, so this is exciting. So many people here I haven't seen actually in a while. So I'm going to unmute them really quick. Let's bring in the 07 folks. Here they are. Oh my gosh, hopefully I don't screw up any. Hello, everybody, by the way. How you guys all? Good to see you all. In the corner, we have Mark Della Vega, drum major from 2000. Were you the drum? Yes, you were the drum major that year, right, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Matt Bush, who at this point had been marching for 53 years with Pacific Crest. Nikki Collister, vibes or marimba? I can't even remember now.
Both for this show.
You played both at this show?
Yeah, all of us played everything in this show.
That is so awesome. Shannon Laverty, a member of the Color Guard from 2007. Thank you so much all for joining here. Okay, I got to start off with, obviously, we'll go around the horn. We'll start with Mark. What are some of your thoughts? What are the memories that come back to you from the 07 year?
Well, I have to be very careful because it's been so long. So there are stories I've been checking with some of the people I aged out with, if these stories happened in 06 or 07 or anything like that. But I do remember 2007, we were on fire. There was a certain fire within all of us that drove us through that. And I think the improvement from the previous year, we were just we were excited that we would be finishing the season in Southern California. And I just remember we were all wholly dedicated to the idea of getting better and keeping that fire through the whole season.
Matt, I'm going to go to you next because you, at this point, how many years had you been in the drum corps, and what was it like with this show?
By this time, this was my third year.
Okay.
So I was 17 years old.
That's just wrong.
Kind of crazy to think about that it's been 13 years. It's 13 years since that season.
Yeah, holy cow.
It was a really cool season because it was our first bridge between having like the stay-at-home sort of core and doing only a couple weeks of tour. And then this was the first kind of season where we got that taste of going to the East Coast and then coming back to practice and then doing the home show here for finals.
Absolutely. Nikki, I got to tell you, the front ensemble, I was an instructor at this point, and they just looked like they were having a good time all the time. What was it like being a member of the pit that year?
Yeah, it was by far the most fun show I've ever performed. That's one of my, fondest memories of that year is actually getting the judges sheet from the very last show. And what they had written on there was just, it looks like these guys are having the time of their lives. And that was like the best like comment for me personally I could have gotten. But yeah, it was so fun. Everyone in the pit was great. The age outs or the older members of the pit were like Paige Byram and Matt Abiva and Bob Grius, and everyone was just really supportive of each other. It was a really great environment for me as kind of a younger member, and that was my first year in PC. It was just a great environment and extremely fun show.
It's still cool to hear Matt and Paige and all the people who were shouting out over the microphone, calling out the stuff. So watching the show a couple more times, Shannon, I got to say, the color guard is featured a lot in this show. Was it fun to perform? Was it challenging? Because you guys are everywhere on the field as well.
Yeah, I actually watched the show the other day to just kind of like jog my memory, and I was like, oh, look, there's me. And then there's me way over there. How did I even do? Like, I remember just being like, I could physically do that, and then actually doing it. And yeah, it was definitely a workout. And then I just remember the whole idea of, okay, that was great, do it again. And just, getting a real workout. But yeah, we were all over the place. We were great that year. It was such a good group to be there with. That was my first year as well. And, some of those people I still talk to this day. So.
That is so cool. That's the common theme that's been running through so far with all the guests we've had on today, which has been great. That like you're still friends with these people.
Oh yeah.
Mark, tell us a little bit about being in front of that show, because I don't know if that was the first year. No, maybe it wasn't the first year, but the smile thing, smiling at the audience, all that, the fun of a show really started to take off. It seems like, if I remember correctly, from that year. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I kind of. Some of it was organic. Some of it, I remember having conversations with Dale where how did the show start? Whatever song that was, the chord turned around.
The Way You Look Tonight.
Yeah, that's what it was. And they started backfield. So I had a few seconds before I actually had to start conducting to interact with the crowd. And so we played up those moments. I'd like pick somebody in the crowd and do like the call me sign. We actually had these little poker chips that Zach and I would pass out to people. And, just like as we're marching to the stadium for the show, we'd just pass random young kids and pass out these poker chips that had like the link to our website. It was, back then.
Marketing, man.
Yeah. No, but it was awesome. It was just kind of, we played up the idea that, we're in Vegas, so it's a very ostentatious place. We got to live it up. So we had fun with that.
Matt, I remember Jeff Sterrett was the program coordinator for that year, and like I remember did we give out characterizations, or like we were trying to evoke some emotions that year that it didn't seem like we had attempted in years past. I'm curious if you remember any of that or some of the performance stuff that went with 2007.
Yeah, I mean the whole beginning of the show was indicative of that. So everybody had a part to play at the very beginning of the show after we had done our on-field warm-up, which is The Way You Look Tonight, which is it was pretty special to be able to play something so different on the field before we even started. And then, throughout the whole entire show, it was pretty much encouraged. I was watching through and I completely forgot about that one visual the Malphones do with the pointing fingers, and we were nodding our heads, all that sort of fun stuff. So, yeah, and that spilled over again to when we were doing, parades and we were giving out those poker chips. I remember that too. So it wasn't all like we were serious and and had our poker faces on that entire time. But we were actually smiling with the crowd and people in parades and walking up. And I think that was the first year that we really started to, go up to the people on the side of the road and interact with them.
That is, it's cool to hear you that's may have been where it started, because I've lost track of where it is now. And the drum corps, for those of you who get a chance to see Pacific Crest in a parade, it's still that way. It's still a good time going down the street. You want to enjoy, try to, it's a performance and entertainment. Tell us a little bit about touring that year, because we did get a chance to actually tour a little bit. Nikki, maybe we'll start with you. Like, what was the travel like actually leaving the state and everything?
It was really weird that year. I feel like it's kind of it stands out in most tours because finals were in Southern California. The first part of the summer was like tour one, and we flew out to the Midwest, I believe, and we had a bunch of shows out there, and we did Allentown in June or something.
That's right, we did Allentown, right? Thank you, good memory.
I think I was looking back at I found an old tour schedule, and it was really interesting. And so we were on the East Coast early on, and it was probably July actually. And then after the 4th of July, at some point we flew back, and then we had all days, back in Southern California, and we're staying, I stayed at Matt Abiba's house in the pit, who lived nearby, and we just all stay there. And it was really interesting. And then we went out on a second tour throughout kind of more the Western states and Denver and things like that. And then we came back and did SoCal shows. And I remember all my friends and former high school friends came to the San Diego show. I don't know if they went to finals at the Rose Bowl, but it was really great to have that as our home show. So it seemed like a really unique year, just in terms of where we went when.
Shannon, we had a new staff for I should say returning staff, I guess, for the color guard. Was there any adjustment or anything? What was it like being a part of kind of, I don't want to say new because they were returning, but basically new color guard staff?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, everything was new for me, but a lot of people that I had marched with had been there in 2006. And that's kind of one of the things that some of the people I keep in touch with to this day are like, didn't you march 2006? I'm like, sure, of course. I have no idea. But I think that I think with the staff, I think that there was more of a push to be really good in 2007. And I think that really did come through just with talking with some of the other members. They really felt we're kind of having to work harder this year. But then we also saw that pay off in, the results that we got on the field. So it was an adjustment, but it definitely I think it was the start to growing the guard to where it is today.
I couldn't agree with you more. And it's awesome that you can see the guard being challenged, not that just by the work and everything that you guys were being asked to do. It was definitely much different than years past we had seen about. And some of that may be the activities evolving and everything, but the fact that we had people in front of you all who were asking you to do those things is pretty awesome. I guess the performance, it's tough to think about this year without the performance aspect of it, but there were a lot of other things that were happening. I mean, I guess I'll start with Mark. Do you remember some of the other things that may have been, because I believe this is our first year of a food truck this year. I really feel like some things changed. Is this the second year of it?
I think it was the second year.
Okay, got it.
Mr. I don't even know. I don't remember were we still calling it Mr. I back then, if it was even painted by that point. The nature of touring definitely changed, because when I started in 2004, rehearsals were, I think, every Sunday. Right. And it went all the way through the summer, and then we kind of just caught up with the rest of tour the last 2 weeks. And then that schedule kind of evolved to allow us to be out more with the rest of the activity throughout the country earlier in the summer. And I think things like that definitely helped get the buzz for us throughout the season, because people saw us at the same time. And I think was that the year we were ahead of I think it was Madison Scouts.
Yeah,
and I think when we beat them, I remember Gene Montestrelli. It was the first or second time I'd met him. He introduced himself and said PC's up and coming. This is a welcome to the future. And 2007 really was the beginning of this amazing period of growth for the Corps. And to see it end up seeing some of my former students in 2019, it's just I see it, and I'm glad that that the Corps is still providing this amazing experience after all these years for all these young people. It's amazing.
I do have to, so I have to ask about this. Scarlett in the chat says that the guard bus lost a wheel. What is that all about?
Yeah. I think we lost it in Colorado. I asked about it in the chat earlier. We were having a little chat.
Did we have to stop? I must have slept through that or something. I don't remember
So
that.
I think this was before the Denver Regional, if I remember correctly. One of the inside tires on the guard bus had blown out, and so we were all. I remember sitting on a curb, looking at the stars, and then falling back asleep on the bus again, getting to the rehearsal site, and then immediately painting a field, and then rehearsing for the Denver Regional.
Oh, that was the day of. I think you're right.
That was the day of. Yeah.
I remember there being a lot of lightning in Denver, so that's that really happened.
Was that the same time as that storm? It happens every year, but
there was definitely a storm in Texas. I remember we were like caught at a 7-Eleven. There was like a show. I think our show had canceled, and we were all trying to get snacks before the buses left, and then there was just this crazy lightning storm that everyone had to run home.
Oh yeah, they evacuated the stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I really remember that.
Yeah.
Matt, I got a question for you. This was your third year you mentioned in the Corps, and I don't remember what year your age out was. It seems like it was 2015 or whatever. But what did you notice as like things are starting to change, as we are starting to rehearse more, and as we're trying some things we haven't? What, as a member, what's that like to experience that change?
So going along with what Mark was saying about how, you catch up with the rest of everybody on tour for the last 2 weeks, it's kind of hard to get the ball rolling when you have such a short time frame before finals. So this time around, it was pretty cool to be able to go and actually experience how tour life was on the East Coast before coming back here to kind of regroup a little bit before heading out on that final stretch back towards home. So it was pretty cool. It was definitely a lot more taxing, I remember. But once you get into the rhythm of it, it becomes a lot easier.
I would imagine. Yeah. That reminds me. Yeah. So it's like we had never even toured for that period of time. That's the longest tour we had ever done up to that point, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So what's it like coming back to California? I mean, Nikki and Shannon, you guys, this was the local, the bag. Was it weird being home for finals or anything like that?
I really liked it. I mean, I think for me, again, it was my first year and my parents were like able to come to finals. And I think they were still like, wait, you decided to do what all summer? And so I got to show them kind of the finished product of like, this is what I spent my whole summer doing. And yeah, a lot of my friends and my family were able to be at that. And so I think that was really special because that wouldn't have happened had we been anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't think I realized at the time how special it was because finals were still in, I thought it was like one of the last years at finals was in a different place other than Indianapolis. And I thought it was just always going to be that way. It would always be somewhere else. Maybe it would come back to Southern California. So it was cool, but it didn't feel as like special as it seems now, but it was really great.
No, it was pretty cool to have my folks come through because my parents met in drum corps back in the 80s. They marched San Jose Raiders. So when I turned 15, that was kind of how I got introduced to the activity. I got dropped off and they waved goodbye as I got on the bus. So it was really cool for them to see it through their eyes as they got to experience finals on the West Coast. Because that's not something that you can do pretty easily, like traveling over to Indianapolis or, Wisconsin or doing all that.
This has been kind of a running theme that's been going on since everyone we've talked to today, but I'll start with you, Mark. What are some of like the takeaways and some of the things that you take away from drum corps that you still like kind of, instill in your everyday life nowadays?
I think it's just having this drive to do something, and to find those challenges and to overcome them. And I this almost like this really strong sense of long-term goal planning, because I didn't know about Pacific Crest until I auditioned. So, I kind of just stumbled upon it, and I've made some lifelong friends and I've had these amazing life lessons. And it's something that I want to pass on as a teacher to my students, that you can do anything that you put your mind to. And as long as you're surrounded by people that support you and love you, you can do anything you want.
Good takeaway. Nikki, how about you?
Yeah, so I think, PC was my second year of drum corps, but this was my first year with this organization. And it was the first time that I I felt like, a little bit more confident in performing, and just part of that was probably the show was so great. But the people, I was with that were in my section and in the entire corps were so supportive, and it kind of taught me to really feel like I own something, or, this is something that I want to make better and, make special. And that's something I've kind of kept with me too. Just once you feel like you have that kind of ownership of something, it's yours. You want it to be the best it can be. And I saw that throughout the corps. I mean, it wasn't just in the pit, but I was amazed that Stuart at that time was a pit instructor, and I think he wrote the pit book too. Like, he was just like on the ground, like with us every day. And in the previous corps I was in, that was like would have been unheard of. And I was just really impressed at the level of, organization, and just the fact that everyone seemed to, really want to own this thing together and to be part of it together. And that feeling is just, it stuck with me. It just makes everything, makes you want to work to improve something. So, yeah.
Shannon, how about you?
Yeah, I think I was kind of thinking about it the other day, kind of in preparation for this moment. But
no pressure,
I think
no pressure.
One of the biggest lessons that I learned was perseverance. I think was a really great skill that I learned that I still apply in my life, in my work, in my friendships. Things take work, and you can't just quit at them, even though it's hot and you want more water, or you didn't like what was for dinner, you want a nap, you didn't get to sleep on the bus, but you have to keep going. And I think it's that perseverance, and also having a team, really learning how to work within a team, and learning how what you do matters in the big picture of what you're trying to accomplish.
Totally. That's what a great takeaway, Shannon. Could not agree with you more. Matt?
Oh, and I got to round it off.
No pressure.
I think since we covered so many great bases, for me, it really imparted the lesson of travel, and being able to share those experiences of travel with the people around you. Drum Corps for me was something so unique, because you got on a bus every summer and you didn't know exactly where you were going. And you were waking up in a new place every single day, and it really opened up your eyes to see what the greater United States is. Coming from Southern California, sometimes it's hard to get outside of our bubble. And every single year I look forward to Drum Corps, waking up on gym floors and somewhere in the middle of the South, and it's hot and it's grimy and there's lots of mosquitoes. But then by the end of the day, you have some of the most magnificent skies and sunsets that you've ever seen. And performing in front of crowds of people who are just thrilled to see you. And that turned a little bit into an addiction, and now I can't get enough of traveling and seeing everything outside of where I live. So yeah, it stuck with me for sure.
It's so cool to see how many people are even still involved in the arts at this point. That's been another common theme that so many of us are still out there giving back, or still making this a profession, if you will. I know one of the big takeaways I think for me from that 2007 season was that the design of the show, but also the performance that all of you brought to it, really felt like we had put PC kind of on the map. And I just mean people that were actually wanted to see the show. If you go back and actually watch the entire show, which you can't because of copyright reasons, but if you have the DVD or anything like that, you'll hear the crowd responses. And I'd assume that that had to have been fun as a performer, right? With some of these crowd responses, because every single show, the crowd was totally into the show. I don't know. Any thoughts on that, Mark?
Oh man, I don't remember specific performances, but I know there were moments where I had trouble hearing the horn line or the battery for timing issues because the crowd was so loud behind me. We were eliciting quite a response from the crowds, and I do remember when we were starting the first tour, crowd response was kind of eh, and then as our scores started going up and we were consistently up there with everyone else, then the crowd started warming up to us. And I think that's when we started establishing ourselves as someone to watch, and people made up their minds yeah, I'm a Pacific Crest fan and I'm going to follow them. And I think some of those people are even with us today still.
So true. Well, I know that the drum corps is nowhere where it's at. In my opinion, if 07 doesn't happen, just structurally, what's happening in the drum corps, we're going. We're touring longer, we're doing all this stuff, and then we have this really awesome performance. So, thank you all for joining. We're gonna keep moving this thing forward. Mark, Matt, Nikki, Shannon, it's great to see you all. Unfortunately, we don't see you all enough. We can't see each other at the Rose Bowl show. Dang it. So, anyway, thanks all for being here. I appreciate it, and thanks for sharing some memories from that time period.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for having us.
Whew. Okay, folks, we're keeping this thing. Man, there are so many donations coming in, so we're gonna catch up here on donations. Let's see. If you haven't, we're gonna do some more giveaway right now too. If you haven't, PC in the chat. If you haven't entered yet, all you gotta do is type PC in the chat, and you will be automatically entered into the giveaway. We'll do some donations here, and then we will do some giveaways. Okay, we're already up to, oh my gosh, gotta update it again. We're doing the manual process today. 4720, folks. So close to $5,000. We can do it. All we need, we're at 4,720. All we need to do is get to $5,000, and we're like what $280 away from $5,000. Who's gonna help us out getting there? Okay, we have a $100 donation from Heidi Stearns. Thanks from Heidi and Vance for introducing us to drum corps. Our daughter Erin marched contra in 2005. Vance and Heidi have been wonderful volunteers over the years. Vance, drove our equipment truck all the time. He is one of my. I look forward to seeing the Stearns every Rose Bowl or local show or championships. Really bummed that unfortunately I don't get to see him this year. But thank you so much for watching it. Thank you so much for your donation. It's wonderful to see you all. Ivan Salcedo donates $10. Miss my PC family. Can't wait to take to the field in 2021. You and me both. Can't wait to see everyone. Oh my gosh, here's a blast from the past. Austin Roy, $25. Member and staff member. Performer and staff member. Austin Roy, thank you so much for the donations, Austin. The donation. Whew. Okay, let's keep this thing going. Jackie Orozco, $50. I think Jackie was a former member, if I remember correctly. There are a lot of names. So, oh, look at that. Tito Salofficial. Eddie Martin donates $100. And here's what Eddie says. For those of you who know Eddie, you see him every summer. It has been my extreme pleasure to be associated with PC in many capacities. 2020 would have been your 10th year with the PC family and working for the best CEO in the activity, Stuart Ponfell. Looking forward to the next 10 years. Thank you so much, Eddie. And thank you for everything you've done for this drum corps. Really do appreciate it. Michael Rosas, $50. Parent of Clock, Bambi, and Little David, and a truck driver for us. Michael has been a tireless volunteer, so thank you so much, Michael Rosas, for the donation. And say hi to your family. Hope they're all doing well. Sean Enright coming in with $100. Love you guys. Love you too, Sean. So it's been really great getting to see you these last couple of seasons, Sean. Thanks so much. Here we go, Mark and Annie Kaveden. So folks, behind the scenes right now, a lot of this is happening because of, Mark helps out as well, but Annie has been doing a ton behind the scenes. Just know, oh, Jackie's on the board, awesome. Oh, okay, Jackie's on the board, my apologies. So this is, sometimes I'll just say things because we're already 2 hours into this thing, and it's get a little crazy, some hysterical. So thank you so much, Jackie. Mark and Annie Kaveden donate $100, and they say much love from the Kavedens. Mark marched in 08 to 011, Annie's 08 to 2010, and this was the perfect substitute for the home show this year. We're close to our goal. Bring it on, PC. I know, right? Rip me. Whew. Okay, let's keep this thing going. We are almost caught up. We got another $25 donation from Heriberto Medina, missing tour this year and working with all the great people. Eddie, Fabi, and Steven. No kidding, right? For real. Okay. And we have, oh, dude, here's $50 from Darren Loney. Darren, thank you so much. Darren, former alumni, staff member, and on staff this year. Thank you so much, Darren. A great band director at Gar High School. And just an overall nice person to hang out with. So, okay, let's do some giveaway, folks. Let's do some giveaways. Let's see what we got. What are the prizes for this one? We got to give away a couple things here. So, the donation. There's a lot of tabs opened up on my screen, so trying to find the right one is a little bit of a problem. Here we go. Okay, so we've already given, let's do a MLB The Show. Okay, so Major League Baseball The Show 2020. This is a PS4 game. This is a PS4 game, and this is great. We're having so many people. C. Calling. Chris Calling, what's up, dude? Okay, Amy J1601, you are the winner of MLB The Show. And if that's not your game, it's fun. Maybe you should give it a try. So Amy, you are the lucky winner. And let's pick out somebody else. What do we got? We got next coming up. We have, this is a good one. We have a controller. We're giving away all this stuff is PS4 stuff. And huge shout out and thank you to Sony. Debated. Thank you to Andrew Rivera, who is, once again, this event right now, this does not happen without Andrew Rivera. So thank you so much for making this. Oh yeah, there were definitely some early Chris Callig sightings earlier on. Okay, let's see. Who's the winner of a PS4 controller? PS4 controller is... Oh, look at that. Chris Henderson. Chris Henderson... I don't even... I should know Chris's job title, but Chris does a lot for Pacific Crest. If you don't know who Chris is, meet Chris Henderson. I should know Chris's job title, but congrats, Chris, on the PS4 controller. Whew. Core manager. There we go. I should know that. I'm sorry. I talk to Chris at least once or twice a week on the phone, and I don't actually know it's rigged. Yes, it's totally rigged. Oh, okay. Who's next? We have another controller. We're giving away another controller. Folks, another controller. Here we go. And Phantom Ace. So cool. Phantom Ace with the win of the PS4 controller. He might actually need one. Perfect. Don't confuse Chris Henderson with Mark Kavin. Dang it, all the time. Josh, good. Congrats on winning the PS4 controller. And let's give out one more. We're going to give away the Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, this is one that I would hope I would win, actually. I haven't played this game. For those, it's a beautiful game on PS4, and I've really wanted to play it. So the gaming nerd in me is wishing that but we'll see. Winner of Horizon Zero Dawn is CJR Minor 123. Congratulations. You look like you're a current PC member, or perhaps you marched recently. You won Horizon Zero Dawn on PS4. So congrats. Okay, let's see. Folks, we are inching ever so closely to $5,000. $5,000 raised, all going for Pacific Crest Drum and Bugle Corps to help support the programs that a lot of us participated in and really care and want to see supported into the future. I mentioned it earlier, but I was a member. I'm a staff member. We're at $49.70. Oh my gosh, $30 away. Who's going to be the person that puts us over? I'm also a donor and have been for a long time, and it's an important cause. I got to tell you, just on a personal note, a lot of my life is, I think I'm here and thankful because of Pacific Crest. As we move into our next year is going to be 2013. There was a lot of staff changes and things that happened from 2007 to 2013. There's a lot of things that happened with the drum corps. We start rehearsing more during this time period. We start traveling more. We start doing all sorts of the things that, a lot of the other drum corps and the activity at the time were doing. But we were doing it in a thoughtful and very specific way to first make sure that the Drum and Bugle Corps is still existing 10 years from now, and also that we're supporting the membership that we have. And one of the common themes that comes up during this time period, the late 2000s into the early 2010s, is that the membership wanted to rehearse more. They wanted a more competitive experience, and they wanted to be out there performing more. And one of the things that is important to the board of directors and also to Stuart and the entire admin team was supporting the membership in a way that that was positive experience. And so you start to see the drum corps tour more. You start to see the drum corps rehearse more. And Brad Cecil is I know I'm interrupting my story, but Brad Cecil, alumni, putting us over the $5,000. I'll update the goal. So I'm going to put a new goal in. We were hitting a flex goal. I'm going to put $7,500 in there. I totally understand if we don't hit it. We've got another hour or so, but I'm just saying if we get to the $7,500 mark, I might just pass out on stream because I'd never even thought that would get there. So thank you so much, Brad Cecil, for being the one who puts us over the $5,000. Holy cow. We'll do a quick update and then I'll update the flex goal. So let's see, $5,000. Woo! Brad was one of two Brads, and I could never say that correctly when they were in the drum corps. I always, probably thought of something inappropriate or wrong words to call the Brads by, but why not, Easy Man? Why not? But so the important part is that the drum corps is starting to change, and I have a little bit of a personal story to share. Is that we brought in one of the color guard staff members was Angela Towsley, who was the caption head and one of the designers from 2010 through 16, 17. I can't remember exactly, but I was fortunate enough to meet my wife through Pacific Crest. So I am very thankful for this time period, and there's some more things that we will get to as far as this time period goes. But I think the shows really start speaking for themselves. Steven's writing drill at this point, Steven Estudio. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening. And so let's take a peek. Let's take a look at what the Drum and Bugle Corps was doing in 2013. And man, so 2013, the title of the show is Transfixed. I have my own thoughts and opinions on the show. The show itself is really awesome and very well thought out. And there's just a lot of the performances, like the membership of that group. Holy cow. Like, well, speaking of the membership, let's bring them in now. Here we go. Today I am joined by Zach. I was about to mispronounce your name, Zach Voth, right?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, well, almost a total break. And then also, Melissa Ricci was also a member of the Color Guard from that year. Thank you both for being here. Very kind of you to be here. Appreciate it. Wow, what a year, 2013. So where do we start with this one? First of all, what's it like Zach, first of all, what was your role that year, Zach? And I think this wasn't your first year. I think you were already a vet by this point.
Yeah, so this was my fourth year, and I was a drum major at this point.
And what are some of your initial thoughts when you think back on 2013?
Holy smokes, man. That year really kind of grew me into one of the leaders, part of the leader I am today. Getting the opportunity to work with a really excellent staff at that point, some people I still consider role models. And it spawned really what I do today as still kind of involved in the arts and an educator in the workplace.
Melissa, at this point, are you a vet, or is this your first year? I don't remember what year of the drum corps this is at this point for you. I think you're off mute, so if you go ahead. Uh-oh. We're not quite hearing Melissa. Gotta see this. Hey, it's our first technical difficulty. Minus me being a dummy early on. Let's see. I think she's on mute. Let me try and unmute her real quick.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. It sounds great. So
I marched Pacific Crest 2007. Hello?
Yes, I think we're losing you a little bit.
Sorry.
It's okay. Let's see. Okay. Can you hear us, Melissa?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just a little bit. Maybe would you mind maybe try turning off your video? That might help out a little bit, actually. So Melissa will do by audio. It might help out her bandwidth a little bit. And so you mentioned this was I couldn't. So what was your first year in the drum corps, Melissa? And tell us a little bit about this year, your experience this year in 2013.
So I marched 2007, 8, and then 10 through 13. So this was my age out year.
Oh man, what's it like aging out with this show?
Oh, it was an amazing show. I feel so lucky. Like I look at the shows that I had the opportunity to march in, and I feel extremely fortunate that 2013 was my age out. It was a really incredible year for the Corps.
So as I was putting the clips together for this year, Angela, my wife, was watching the show, and she was just talking about how strong the color guard performance is. It seems like there was quite a bit of talent, but a lot of people working their butts off to make the color guard really perform well that year.
Oh yeah, definitely. There was a huge push towards putting forward a high quality performance for 2013, and I think that was really a year that we saw the culmination of a lot of years' hard work kind of adding up to a really fantastic season.
So I noticed that Alejandro is joining us as well. Was this your first year marching, Alejandro? I can't even remember.
I started DCI in 2011 with gold.
Cool.
And this was my second year with PC, so I did 12 and 13.
Nice. And what are your thoughts as you think back to 2013?
Oh man, that was a year for sure. That was so much fun. I think the people, obviously the show made it, but the people made it, even better. That was my age out year, just like everybody else. So that was super awesome. Friends for life right there.
Absolutely.
I saw Mark Caveden posting this in the chat, but the drum line, the performances, it's a really, you can tell this group can perform. Zach, what's it like getting to, get to work with that as a drum major? What's it like being in front of that?
Holy smokes, man. With Alejandro and a couple of the guys, Andy Yoon and Eric Briggs, they came with such an energy and such a heat every day that it was awe-striking, and it forced me to be a more competent, timekeeper and leader. I wanted to make sure that I brought the same energy they brought, and they always challenged me.
I think the proof's in the pudding. The performance definitely shows that. What's it? Maybe we can start with Zach and we'll go around the horn. Zach, what was it like learning the show that year? Because there was a new drill writer, there was a bunch of staff changes that happened. So what's it like putting that show together?
I think the key term there is flexibility, especially as PC was developing into a new beast at that point. We had to learn real quick that there was going to be changes, there was going to be adaptations, and we had to be receptive the entire time. And so one of the things that I took, not only learned that year, but took on to future experiences was that keep my ears open and make sure that if somebody provides feedback that you analyze and give it right back.
Alejandro, I remember the drum line. I mean, every year, but I mean, they always have kind of a lot of responsibility to keep the drum corps together. I wondered if you experienced any of that or could remember anything from that time period.
It was definitely, I think, because PC was being, so progressive that year. The show was definitely harder as far as timekeeping, and our book was definitely harder than the year before. Super fun, but again, like Zach was saying, it took a lot of flexibility. We're changing it all the time up until pretty much finals week. We were tweaking it here and there, but it was a fun book to perform. And I think just, making sure we're keeping time with everybody else and making sure everyone was locked in was super hard, but also that's what made it fun.
You guys are reminding me of all the changes. Like Melissa, if I remember, didn't guard members have to learn multiple dots for one, there were a lot of changes that happened during the course of the season.
Yeah, a lot of things changed throughout the entire season. So it felt like right up until the last day, we were still learning things. So it was definitely a year for flexibility and being able to adapt.
So Melissa, you mentioned your first year, I think it was 2007, which kind of blows my mind, by the way. But tell us a little bit about some of how rehearsal kind of changed over that. Because at this point, we're rehearsing a lot more than we were in 2007.
Oh yeah, definitely. 2007 was rehearsals from 2 p.m. until 8 p.m. Whereas 2013 was rehearsals from 8 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, and you did that all day. The mentality kind of changed because when I joined, it was Pacific Crest was the sort of core. We were coming out of that phase where you could hold a side gig, you could have a job, you could go to summer school. And PC 2013, you definitely couldn't do that. You had no time for that.
No kidding. Zach, I mean, what was that? I don't even remember. What was the tour like at this point? Do you know how long we're touring for at this point?
At that point, we were housing together all the way from the Stanford show. So we took off for NorCal. We came back, and generally we came back and did the Oceanside thing, and then I think we were generally all together. I can't remember. It's been a lot of years.
Alejandro, does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I remember. I think we started all days in Mobile. I remember doing that. We were there for a little bit, and then taking off, and then we were pretty much together for the rest of the time. Yeah, we're together a lot.
It's great because it obviously there's proof from the performance that rehearsing together more often can really create some great performances and stuff like that. Zach, I'm curious, what's it like switching from the horn line over to the leadership thing? What was that kind of experience like?
It actually was more natural than I anticipated. I had a really good set of individuals in 2012 that kind of pushed me. Alex Moore, my current roommate, had really kind of talked it through with me, and it felt very, very natural to be a peer, but somebody who was able to kind of see it from the outside and report back.
Nice. Alejandro, was this? I missed it before. Was this your first year, or was this were you a second year already?
Second year.
Second year. Okay. So, what does it feel? I mean, any differences like in experience and stuff like that from 1 year to the other?
I mean, yes and no. It was still like PC will always be home. So, I felt more at home definitely in 2013, and having all the guys and gals on I think we had maybe 8 or 9 age outs on like the drum line. So it was, a lot of people, the end of their DCI career, and everyone's kind of, giving it their all, and it was super fun.
So I think everyone here at some point has come back to do something for Pacific Crest after they aged out. We'll start with you, Zach. Why have you continued on in the activity? What kind of takeaways have you taken from Pacific Crest, and why do you keep, you staying involved at this point?
I think Pacific Crest taught me mostly that when I'm at my lowest, there's nowhere to go but up. Because there's so many rehearsal days when you feel beaten down, and there's no way out from this a grind. And the next day you wake up and you're better, and the next day you wake up and you're better. And you can apply that to so many different situations, workplace, personal relationships. I always think that the grind will get you where you want to go. That's what PC taught me.
So true. Alejandro?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of piggyback off of Zach. It's a lot of, I don't want to say it could always get worse, but I'm a paramedic right now. So, we have a lot of good days and a lot of really bad days. And I always kind of find myself looking at PC like, oh, I remember being up all day, getting on a bus, being up all night, not sleeping real well. And now we have to be like at the top of our game. So I think that, that really helps kind of at least in my career for sure. And as far as giving back, I mean, like I said, PC's home. So, I always love to give back as much time as I can. The last couple of years have been busy, but, if I can, I want to.
Thank you for the volunteering you've done, especially over the last couple of seasons on the medical side of things. Melissa, how about you?
I mean, just to reiterate what these guys have said, like Pacific Crest really does teach the value of hard work and keeping at it and persevering. Not every day is going to be the best, but being a part of Pacific Crest has really shown the value of sticking with something and seeing the joy it can bring when you see it all the way through to the end. And that's really paid off in my life. I've seen that over and over again. And I really owe it all to Pacific Crest.
It's pretty cool. So like after this time period, we're going to start moving into the more modern era of Pacific Crest. And I'm curious, what's it like from your all perspectives to see the drum corps, especially this last season, 2019? What's it like seeing the drum corps, what it is today after living through some of these years in the earlier 2000s? And I'll start with Zach. We'll start with Zach first.
So the evolution has been incredible. And I think that we can all agree that in 2012 and 2013, we thought we were on the cutting edge of PC and the frontier. And to come back and watch the show in 17, 18, 19, especially 19, I was so emotional about where the perseverance and the dedication of these members these days has driven the corps to be. And it really is created this new public eye that I'm so proud to be a part of and so proud to talk about. And so I'm so stoked to hype them up whenever I get the chance.
Alejandro?
Yeah. So I think my first drum corps show was 2007, the Rose Bowl. And then just kind of, seeing it kind of progress, and I was like, oh, I totally want to be part of that. And then kind of have it come to light in, 12, 13 was super cool. And then I remember specifically having a conversation with like Andy Yoon and Eric Briggs, who I aged out with. And we were at the Memorial Day preview and just kind of, sitting there watching that. We're like, dude, PC's taking off. Like, this is ridiculous. We thought we were awesome. Now these guys are awesome.
How about you, Melissa?
I mean, definitely. Like, to be an alumni and see 2019, like my heart was just bursting with pride for everyone who is currently marching. And it's cool to know that, like, as an alumni, even if you don't know the kids who are currently marching, like, you helped contribute to that. And I think also that it points towards the fact that some goals are very long term. So it's like for the core, 2019 was a big payoff, and that was a really cool, well deserved. It was well deserved for the core.
I couldn't agree with you all more. And I think that's one of the, I think if anybody takes anything away from all of us hanging out today, it's that each one of these years is just, it creates, especially Pacific Crest, you kind of get to make history every single year with Pacific Crest. And that's continuing on, still now into this most recent year, 2019. 2020, unfortunately, has made history, but just, COVID-19 ways. So I honestly, I look back with a lot of fondness, obviously, because this is around the time that I'm meeting my wife and all that kind of stuff, but also the performance that you guys did. One of the real pleasures of watching this specific performance was how strong everyone is. I guess when you're in the thick of it and you're like, oh man, that kid's out of step or that kid missed his dot, you don't always get a chance to enjoy that part of it. And you all were bringing it as performers, and it's really fun and a treat to watch, to say the least. So thank you all so much for taking the time. Eric Briggs was going to join us. I know he had to do the work thing. So thank you, Alejandro, Zach, and Melissa for sharing some thoughts and looking back and remembering 2013. I appreciate y'all. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you.
Okay, folks, we are getting closer to the modern era. It is happening. 2019 is just around the corner. But first, okay, so you probably saw it in the donation goal, folks. We have blown past $5,000, and now our new flex goal is $7,500. So many things to thank you. We got to do some more giveaways. We are just moving this thing right along, and we actually have another video to watch. This is pretty exciting, and but there is the Brad seasonal donation. It was actually for $100. So thank you so much, Brad. He marched 05 to 08. If you don't know Brad, meet Brad. He's super nice and was an awesome member. Thank you so much, Brad, for the $100. Caitlyn Jones donates $30. Happy to support such a great organization. Ricky Garcia, 16 and 18 through 18, and Caitlyn Jones, 20 and now 21, because, well, you get an extra year now. So Caitlyn, as you mentioned, as you heard in her video, she was going to be an age out this year. So Christopher Raquejo, $30. Can't wait to come back for next year. Christopher, I'm right there with you, man. Can't wait to see this coming up too. If you want to enter the giveaway, PC in the chat, just type P and C together, 2 letters, PC. And if you've already entered it in, you're good to go. If not, throw it in there again. Okay, let's see. We have from Richard and Lori Anderson, $50. Let's go, Teresa Anderson. Challenge all Contras to donate. Pretty awesome. Thank you so much. And we have a $50 donation from Matt Kearns that says, go PC from the Kearns family. Claire marched in the color guard in 19 and continues in 2021. Awesome. Thank you so much. Brandon Ristow. You know what? You were in the core, and I still don't even know if I pronounced it correctly back. I probably didn't. So, Brendan, thank you so much for the $25. So thankful for Pacific Crest. Okay, what else we got here? We have, look at this. Carlo Ricci. Thank you so much for the $100. Carlo is also a Carlo, by the way. This one I actually remember. There's no S on the end of Carlo. Carlo was a tuba player for quite a few years. Thank you so much for the $100. Chris Henderson coming in with the $250. Wow, Chris, that is super generous of you. Thank you so much for $250. Jeez. No comment though? You couldn't leave some witty comment? I'll make up a witty comment for Chris Henderson. Insert witty comment here. Okay, thank you. Here we go. And we have look at this. $150 from Armando Duenas. Thank you so much from Armando for alumni and staff member, $150. Whatever it takes to get to the top 12. Make them believe. Waves are forever. Well, okay. So yes, got to appreciate some competitive success this year. I think we all do. It's as being an alumni and a fan, and we want to see our family do well. One of the things I think that's, for me at least, a big time takeaway from this previous season was just the level of performance. It was awesome that the competitive success went with it, but anybody who knows, just the performances of these members this year or last year, 2019, was just something special, and it took the performance level of the group up another notch, and I think we can all kind of agree on that. It's pretty awesome that kind of thing happens. Okay, let's do some giveaways. What is our next? Mondo, right? Mondo is cook. I mean, what job hasn't Armando done at this point? Okay, let's see. We are up to, here's God of War. Okay, who wants God of War? So, God of War is a PS4 game, and Nightbot tells us Olive M. Guerrero, you are the winner of God of War. I'll be contacting you after the stream. Let's see, Spider-Man. Ooh, this is a good one. You won. You have won God of War on PS4. This is for Spider-Man. This is I don't have it out here. Played through that game. Spider-Man on PS4 is awesome. Okay, let's roll for this one. This winner is going to be Tito Sal Official. I love that it's the official account. Tito Sal Official, you are the winner of Spider-Man. I've seen you in the chat. I know you've been hanging out. Thank you. Why are so many messages? Okay, so folks, the next time we do this, I promise we'll turn down the moderation settings in the chat a little bit. It's being a bit aggressive. I like seeing caps. Okay, we have a couple more. We'll do 2 more controllers for the giveaway, and then we'll get to our last couple things last. Let's see. This is for a PS4 controller. That's not the button I wanted to press. We're doing PS4 controller. Here we go. Oh, Scarlett, you are the winner of a PS4 controller. A former alumni. Thank you for sharing some of your stories, by the way, in the chat during. It reminds me of some of the things. I'm trying. I'm hoping. It's completely random. And if it makes you feel any better, I haven't won yet, so you know. Okay, here's another PS4 controller. We have another PS4 controller. Another PS4 controller goes up. Oh, look at that. H. Stearns. So awesome. PS4 controller winner. So awesome. Okay, cool. So, whew. I feel like I'm losing my breath at this point. Okay, we have hit the $5,000 mark, and honestly had no idea that this was going to be happening. So I'm so glad that I get to share this video with you. This is another video that our members from 2020 and now 2021 have prepared just for you, the Twitch audience. This just still is not here to shame you. Yeah, no kidding. What happened to Chris? Where did Chris go? Where's Sticks? So this is a thank you message and just a little bit personal message from the members of 2020. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Mira. I march euphonium at Pacific Crest. I marched in 19, 20, and I'll be marching in 21. Thank you so much for supporting Pacific Crest so that we can all be back on the field again come summer of next year. I'm super excited to be marching with my friends again on the field. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Quinn Sandoval, and I am a euphonium player here at Pacific Crest. I marched in 2019, 2020, and I will be marching in 2021. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who supported us during this pandemic, so that way we can return to the field in 2021 even better and ready to entertain everyone that comes to see us. Thank you for supporting Pacific Crest.
Hello, my name is Michelle, and I play mellophone. I was a part of Pacific Crest in 2016 and 2017. I just wanted to give a huge thank you from the Pacific Crest family to all of you. And a personal experience I had this year was when we had the one and only virtual camp, I believe is in March. I was thinking, is this really how it's going to be until tour starts? Is this really how my age out year is going to be? And I am so thankful and hoping that we'll have a 2021 season, and I'm looking forward to being able to see all my friends and family again and be able to learn from the world-class staff at Pacific Crest. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Sam Perez. I am a trumpet player for Pacific Crest, and I had a blast marching in 2019 and was looking forward to serving as the 2020 trumpet section rep this summer. I just wanted to take this moment to thank you for your continued generosity and support, especially during these difficult times. It means the world to us in your commitment to support the arts and to specifically support our program. I know as members, we look forward to coming back next summer and to producing a great show and putting on the field for you and just as a thanks for your support. So thank you again, and we look forward to creating new memories next summer.
Hi, my name is Asha Kasur, and I would like to personally thank you for your support in helping Pacific Crest continue our education and performance in the marching arts. I have been with Pacific Crest for 2 seasons. I marched 2018 and 2019 on euphonium, and I was contracted as one of our 2020 assistant drum majors. One of my favorite memories with Pacific Crest is that after a show in Alabama, somebody was playing music on a speaker out by our food truck, and so a bunch of us just got up and started dancing. Eventually it turned into some pretty weird dances, and the Mandarins ended up joining us, and it was just so much fun. It's nights like that that I miss the most, and I hope in 2021 we get to have more of those experiences. So if there's anything that you can do to help our family come back together again, it would mean the world to all of us. Thank you very much.
Well, couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much, members of 2020, now 2021. As Ashley mentioned it, one of the only ways that we're going to be able to do this drum corps thing in the future is if we support it financially. And I know it's a super challenging time for a lot of us. And so for the fact that we've already raised over $5,000, I can't thank you all enough. I know it's not easy in this current environment. So thank you so much for making this happen and ensuring that Pacific Crest can field a drum corps in 2021. You're all making this so very possible. To do a quick check here. Okay, we're good. We have one more donation that comes. Look at this. Holy cow. Matt Allen with $25. Matt, if you're in the chat, dude, hello and thank you so much. Insert witty Chris Anderson comment here. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that, dude. I'm fortunate enough to work with Matt outside of this, and I get a chance to see him. But wonderful performer and everything like that, Matt Allen. Thank you so much for the $25 and the insert witty comment here. Okay, so you know what? Here we are. It's we just got through 2013, and we're moving in. There's a lot of things that change in Pacific Crest from 2013 and 2019, and we talked a little bit about this in our first stream ever of, why are some drum corps most successful than others? And it's a combination of like everything. I mean, there's not one secret or magic bullet or secret way to do this drum corps activity. A lot of things have to click. There's even a little bit of luck involved. And as we started moving into 18 and 19, obviously you're probably well aware of a lot of the staff changes and things we make like that. But finding a group of people that come together and really click, this chemistry thing is not easy. There's some luck involved. And I mentioned earlier, but like we've had some really amazing instructors that I still respect and consider friends to this day that have gone through this drum corps. And it's why did things start to work as we get into 2018 and 2019? And we had some really positive changes in staff and things like that. We also had some really fortunate luck that the membership started to click. We had these really great staff members come in and give some new information, just different information. I shouldn't say new. It reached the members in a different way. And so that's how we arrive at 2019, which I'm sure many of you are probably aware of by now because it was just last year. So let's take a quick look at 2019 and then we'll bring in some people to chat about it. Here we go. 2019 Pacific Crest Everglow.
Performing their 2019 program, Everglow. Drum Corps International is proud to present Pacific Crest.
Okay, by far still one of my favorite intros to any show, not just a Pacific Crest show, but any show ever. It's so awesome. Let's bring him in here. Here we go. Joined by Jonathan Zuniga. John, what's your... Oh, I should unmute you guys all. Sorry. Apologies. John, what's your current job? I should know your job title at this point, John Z. What's your job title here nowadays?
Front ensemble writer, / electronic writer and music coordinator.
And all around nice guy. Let me just throw that out there as well. Ashley, who you just saw in the video, is a current drum major for 2020, but that year marching euphonium. And then Alex, I forget Alex's last name. I'm going to totally Alex Vasquez. There we go. And Alex, you're in the color guard, correct?
Yeah. No, I was a player.
What?
Trumpet player.
Trumpet player. Okay, my apologies. Why am I getting this? It's been talking. It's 3 hours. This is what's getting to me. So let's get this thing started. First of all, 2019, obviously a big year. John, how long have you been with the drum corps at this point? And take us a little bit. What do you, in your mind, why were things starting to work in 2019 the way that they did?
I started in 2017 when I joined the group. At that point, I was on the design team and still the front ensemble guy. And then, so this past season would have been my second year as music coordinator. So 19, the show that we're talking about, was my third year. I just think there was just a great alignment of the stars when it comes to just getting the staff together and getting this new design team. And by new design team, it's not that many people. We pretty much added Brad and Gabe, but we all know Gabe. And and then Glenn started to come on as the program coordinator. So I also knew Glenn for a long time. Steven, we went to high school together. Easy writes the battery beats. He's my roommate and best friend. So pretty much Brad was only the new person, but he just fit in it was it was nothing, because there was definitely a dynamic set, but that didn't change anything. I just think that as all these stars starting to align, things just clicked, and it was just time to go. Once we found out that we had that vehicle, the staff taught the crap out of it. The members played the crap out of it. They spun the crap out of it. They smashed the cymbals out of it. And then we were here where we are today.
They performed the crap out of it. Well, speaking of that performance, Ashley, tell us a little bit. What's it like performing the show? What does it? And kind of you as a performer, is there anything that changes, from 18 to 19? Or I'm curious about that kind of journey.
Well, Everglow was just probably the best thing that's ever happened to me at this point in my life. I wish I was out on the field right now marching it. I miss it so much. I think about it all the time. But the difference going from 18 to 19, since those were my only 2 years of experience in drum corps, you just felt it from down to the members, from the staff to the admin. Everybody just had these little tiny goals that they wanted to accomplish every single day. Whether it was, we want to have a great breakfast, or we want to have, this small part of the show really nailed down and clean. It was just those little tiny things every single day that just set us, on the track to accomplish what we did last season.
Let's see. Okay, I got it. So, Alex, tell us a little bit about your perspective as a trumpet player. Now that I can figure out, where everyone is actually in the drum corps. What's it like being a trumpet player performing the show?
It was honestly really fun. I marched 15 and 16, and just comparing it to those years, it was like night and day, honestly. From music, staff, and just like Ashley said, the food that last year was amazing. It was a huge change. We had eggs every day. That was awesome. And I think I speak for everybody. That was just, it was mind blowing to have eggs every single day. And then, but with the music, it was different, but a good different. I think everybody liked it, and I think everybody had the fire in them, and I think that was missing from when I marched in 15 and 16. 19, everybody just wanted to kill it.
And I think that's kind of an important aspect, is that I'm gonna shout out Glenn Crosby because he was a part of it, but it's also I would say the caption heads as a design and the design team. It seemed like from our perspective as just a staff member and to the members, there was this very conscious effort to say that, look, we are going to raise the performance level of this ensemble. And I'm curious, John, was there any discussion of that, or was that something? Because it seemed like it was that was. We were talking about this with Ashley on one of the webinar things, that was translated to the members. And I'm curious if that was a conscious thought or how that ends up getting to the members.
Man, that's a fun question. I think every year we're always trying to push the core forward, but something about this year, I think once we were able to, I think Stuart puts it best when he talks about a hand of poker. Is that a thing?
Yes.
like in the past few years, you know, we've been dealing with like maybe some pairs, but we wanted a triple. Then eventually we wanted a flush or a straight, and we wanted to keep getting to that perfect hand. And I think by the time we just restructured some things, and we had that vehicle I think we had that vehicle ready for this membership and for this staff. That was the point to go.
Alex, you've struck a nerve with the chat, because there's a lot of love for the food crew and the food that happened that summer. Apparently, this was a step forward in food service as well.
It really was. I'm not gonna lie. I remember at 15, that was bad. And if Erin is in the chat, she'll know. We had bagels and cream cheese all in Movac, and that just to this day I can't eat a cold bagel because of that. So yeah, it was nice to have eggs again.
For anybody who's never volunteered for a drum and bugle corps, let me just first of all say that it's like the toughest job in the entire drum corps is the food crew. Like, you wake up before everyone, you go to bed after everyone. It's a thankless job. You know, everyone's half asleep or dead tired when they come see you. So not everyone can always say please and thank you. So it's just it's the worst job, the toughest job in the entire drum corps. But to your point, it was quite, there was some love for food crew out there in the chat. It's pretty great.
To Armando, best chef out there.
Armando is the man for sure. Ash, let me ask you a little bit. This show seemed like it was fun to perform, and it seemed like the crowd response reciprocated the fun that the membership was having. Can you talk about a little bit about the performance, and were some of the things maybe that were, you know, we were asking the members to do things we haven't asked them to do before. So,
I think for starters, having, you know, the ability to have more facial expression and visibility with the crowd was a huge factor in, you know, that relationship between the members and the audience. And I mean, I remember we went out onto the field, I think it was Virginia, and the very first row of like audience members, as we're walking out, I looked over and I saw them, and they're all just hyping us up. They're excited. They're doing the Everglow pose. And I mean, that just got all of us so hyped to, you know, just perform this show to the absolute max that we can. And, you know, just that ability to, you know, be out there, and it's okay to like yell during the angry section, or to, you know, look sad during the sad section, and just put your whole entire body into it in a way that I've never performed before. So I think the staff did a great job at, you know, coaching us and how to get that emotion out of us. And it's very obvious how that translated to the audience.
John, I'd like to ask you about that. So John, because, you know, Ashley mentioned this in the little we did a recent webinar thing about what changed, you know, how did we get to where we are today? And the idea, we didn't have Shakos. We didn't use Shakos. We changed the top portion of the costume. What were some of the, like, was that why go that route? Like, what are some of the benefits of performing and communicating with an audience that way?
I just think there's a certain point that there's a look and a name, and it's all great and it's all branded. But at this point of the year, that point, like, we all just decided, like, let's just come out. Steven said this well. He's like, I just want to come out on the field and just be completely different. And everyone's like, what are you doing? Like, the pit, why is the pit on the field? Like, a lot of groups did pits on the field. A lot of groups have taken out their Shakos. A lot of groups have done like this reworks. But there was just something unique about us getting to do it, where we just did it all in 1 year. Just like, we just wanted to come out immediately, and we wanted everyone to be like, what are you about to do? What is this? And I think for us, having that just a little bit of a, like, that doubt of like curiosity. And then, you know, in the first minute, we come out with that first horn hit, and then hopefully we grab the audience and we're like, all right, now stick with us for another 10. Right. And then we'll show you why. Well, so yeah, a lot of conscious decisions just to be different out the gate completely.
Alex, I'll ask you, you know, you mentioned marching in 15 and 16. Was there any, you know, what's the challenges like? You know, is 19 more challenging than 15 or 16, or is it just a different type of challenge? Tell us a little bit about that.
Honestly, it was easier. I felt like 15 and 16, we got beat up a lot in the right way. Now, just a lot of, you see that fence over there, go touch it. It was a lot of that. That's something I remember. And then with 19, I remember we were in Charter Oak, and we kept taking breaks. And I was so confused, because I'm used to, you know, what is it, Heat Forge? Is that the term for that? I'm so used to that. And then when it came out to be like, all right, guys, every 10 minutes, we're going to take a 5-minute break. It felt weird, but I think as the season went on, we kept doing it. We just had more energy to perform. And then same thing with sleep. They gave us more sleep. And again, that was like weird to me compared to 15 and 16. And I think we just had more energy throughout the whole show and throughout the day. So keep going with the breaks. That's something I vouch for now.
That's an interesting experience to hear it from that perspective, that it was easier to get, easier in a sense. It's still, you're rehearsing 8,000 hours every day and everything, but
I think it was like more of a toll mentally, if anything, just because of how much the staff was asking for us. I think that's about it. It was just more of a mental game rather than the physical game this year. So, yeah, but I think we all did pretty well.
I totally agree. And I think that's one thing, one of the biggest changes I noticed, and I didn't spend a ton of time with the drum corps in this season, but was that the demand and the expectation of excellence continued throughout the entire season. And I'm not saying that wasn't there in years past. It's just continuing to be as demanding the last 3 weeks of tour as you are the first 2 months, is a really big component, I think, of making this thing as work as well. And to your point, Alex, I think that, if you set those expectations out, but at the beginning of every day and everything like that, it's clear, and you keep doing it as you go along. So you both of you are, I'm curious some of the takeaways you've had from the experience of drum corps and how it's affected your real life. Ashley, I'll start with you. What are some of the things you use in your real life you've gotten from drum corps?
I'd like to say that it has helped with my time management, but I don't think that's very true. I mean, on tour, I have my alarm, I'm up, 10 minutes before the rest of prop crew. I'm getting the keys ready. I'm getting my gloves ready. I'm going out there for props. We're done like a minute before breakfast. We had it, so down packed when it comes to time. I tried to put that into my non-drum corps life, but that's hard. But other than that, I mean, I think just the confidence, the way I hold myself, the way I have, I stand 2 inches taller, my shoulders are back, I walk with confidence. And I think that's something that'll always stay with me. I don't think that'll ever, not be a part of who I am. And yeah, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing, is just the confidence and my ability to believe in myself. And when I, say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it to the most potential that I can. So that's probably the biggest thing I keep with me.
How about you, Alex?
Well, besides the perfect PB and J ratio, all right, it'd probably be work ethic, honestly. It's just, you kind of find that what you think your limit was, it is not your limit at all. So, like, being a workaholic's not necessarily good, but I know if I have to work 12 hours, I can do it and just keep going at it. Work ethic, I think time management as well. I'm late to everything, but it does help when it comes out to it.
Truthfully, one of my favorite things that I loved about drum corps was the schedule, the rigidity. It's, hey, tell me where to go, tell me what time to be there, and it was somebody else was making the decisions, which it made it a little bit easier. John, I'm curious. We're looking at 2021, obviously, because 2020 is not going to happen. What are some of the things that are being worked on, or what is there anything you could tell us about planning for the future and what 2021 will look like?
Well, we want it to be the best competitive in whatever nature drum corps becomes. So it will be tailored to what the future of drum corps would look like. But anything behind the scenes of working on a new show, I'm just going to have to stay quiet on.
That's fair. We did get it, and I will just let everyone in on behind the scenes just a little bit. We were still rehearsing up till February or March, so members did have music for a show that may have happened in 2020. And I don't want to say more than that, but at least that there is stuff that was written for the 2020 season. And I don't know. I guess we probably shouldn't say more than that, but whatever drum corps does look like, I know that we'll be doing it moving forward. John, just some, we'll go around the horn really quick. Some final thoughts of the 2019 season and what to look forward to.
No, I'm just proud that I was able to be part of it. Super proud on the membership, trusting the staff super proud on the staff, trusting the caption heads, and then all the way caption heads trusting the design team. We threw a lot of stuff at you guys, and it was successful. And I know that if we had another week or two, who knows what could have happened. That's the beauty of drum corps. I think that performance at that day was the best we could have asked for. And just super thankful for all the trust and experience that all these members got, and that they can continue that trust and experience going into the following year so we can keep trying some more fun stuff.
Absolutely, man. Ashley, how about you?
I mean, I think it's just all the little things, throughout the day, and, a day in a drum corps that make the biggest impact. And, I'll always remember, quoting Sean Phelan, you have all the answers. You just need to ask yourself the questions. I say that to myself all the time. I say it to my visual students when I'm teaching them. I say it to my drum majors when I'm teaching them. And it's just like, I think that's a really good life motto, whether you're in drum corps, whether, you're cooking, whatever you're doing. I think that's, just a great thing to take away from my experience in drum corps.
Oh man, so true. And then Alex, how about you?
Well, honestly, I'm just so happy I came back. From 15, 16, and then when I came back 19, I was still debating if I did want to come back, and I'm just so happy that I just ended up staying. I couldn't ask for like a better age out year, better family that I made on that. The stories.
I can see your age out stone on your necklace. It's so cool. This is pretty. Beetle Brain in the chat asked, "What's the Coldplay song going to be for 2021?" Okay. Anyway, thank you, John, Ashley, and Alex. Thank you so much for joining and sharing some memories of 2019, and stoked to see when 2021 happens, what it's going to be and what it's going to look like. But thank you so much for sharing some memories. I appreciate y'all. Thanks, guys. Okay, folks. We are hitting the home stretch. This is going to be it. We're getting close. Let's give away some more stuff. What are we at right now? I don't even know. We did have another donation come in, so whew. I gotta tell you, it's for somebody who's been, my first time I saw Pacific Crest was 1997. So yeah, enter PC in the chat if you'd like to. $1,620 away from reaching $7,500, folks. You are making this happen. Thank you so much for doing so. We still have a little bit of time. We've got a few minutes left. We got to give away some things. We got to chat a little bit more, and then we'll be moving on. So feel free, if you haven't gotten into the chat yet, or if you haven't gotten into the raffle yet, all you gotta do is type PC in the chat, and you are entered for some we were giving away the PS4 Pro coming up. PS4 Pro is right around the corner, and we actually have a really cool head, and I gotta find it really quick because I don't remember where it's at. We're giving away a really awesome customized PC Pacific Crest head, and while I'm talking, I will bring that up. So let's do this. Let's see. There we go. Okay, I think I have a photo of this I can show really quick. Cool. It's not loading, of course. It's actually the entire drum. That's right. I'm sorry. You're right. It's an entire drum from Mapex. Apologies. Thank you for remembering, Stuart. And it's not loading up on my computer for right now. Okay, let me try to describe this thing because it's not loading up right now. We are giving away a full snare drum from KHS. They have donated to us. It has the PC logo on it. It is awesome. And I'm trying to see if I can get a photo of it. Maybe this one has it. Let's see. I got it. Okay, cool. This one will work. Cool. Let me bring it over to here really quick. And I'll show you all right here. We are giving away this bad boy. So you still have a chance to, as I stumble through the last couple of words here after this 3 hours, we're giving away this as part of the giveaway right now. So this will be awesome. Get in, last chance, PC. All you gotta do is type PC in the chat, and there we go. Okay, let's give away some stuff. We have, what's up next? Next is, oh, this is cool. Death Stranding. For anybody who, so the chat. Oh, Teresa, so twitchy. It's awesome. Death Stranding is a game on the PS4. It came out just a few months ago, and if you haven't or don't know anything about it, it's a really weird game, but it's super interesting. So let's give away Death Stranding. Nightbot, please tell us who is going to win Death Stranding. I don't know how to pronounce that name, so whosever screen name that is, UDCRLUAM, you have won Death Stranding. Pretty awesome. Wait, is that Kelly Flickenshire? For real? Ah, dude, Kelly, awesome. Congrats. That's so cool. We were talking about him earlier. A donor of today's event. Okay, we're getting into the big ones. We're on the home stretch here. We're going to try to stretch this out a little bit. Before we give away Last of Us 2, let's look back and read a donation here really quick. We have a $100 donation from Jim and Debbie Cross for $100, and it says, hang in there. I'm trying. We're almost there. We're getting so close. Whew. And is there anything? I'm trying to look at, no, we got through all the photos. Oh my gosh, so many of them. Oh man, there's some good ones. Shotgun. Let's give away Last of Us 2. For those of you who don't know, on the PS4, Last of Us 2 just came out like a week ago. So if you're looking, that's a game you wanted to play, here is your chance now. Kelly, remember 99? Oh my gosh, 99 red balloons. That's I fell asleep with that haunted in my head for months after the tour was over, because that is literally, for those of you who were around that year, all you heard was 99 red balloons in English and in whatever language that song is also sung in. I can't remember right now, but okay, let's give it away. Here we go. Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2 is going to Officer Milk. Officer Milk is the winner of The Last of Us 2. German, thank you. It was in German. Whew. Okay. I am going to... So what do we think? Do we give away the PS4 next, or do we give away the drum? Both of those are awesome prizes. I don't even know. The drum. Okay, we'll do the drum. The people have spoken. The drum is getting given away next. Okay, folks. This is a big one. This is a Pacific Crest snare drum. So cool. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Fueled by BYOBS. You are the winner of a Pacific Crest snare drum. We have so many people eligible in the chat. So cool. And I'll be contacting you all after the stream. And the final... Well, do we have anything else we want to do here before we... making sure I'm not missing anything? No. Okay. Oh! We do have another donation. I'm going to screw up this name. It looks like Janae or Janie. It's got 2 E's in it. Janie Dahl, thank you so much for the 200... And it says I read the anonymous last. Anonymous donation. Thank you so much. Oh, here we go. Another one from Michael Rosas, $25. Not much, but I hope that this helps. Oh my gosh, Katie Rosas, thank you so much for the $25. It absolutely does. We have hit the $6,000 mark. Holy cow, folks. Thank you so much. That puts us over 60-80. Olivia, if we could watch the full show, I totally would. As you probably have all noticed, we run up to some, oh my gosh, we run up to some copyright issues as we play full show. So thank you so much for helping us reach $6,000 tonight, folks. I can't believe that this was actually going to happen, but it really did. We raised $6,000 today. I'm not going to profane. We're not going to use any profanity on the stream. When's there going to be speed runs? Well, maybe we'll just do that afterwards, right? $61,006. Holy cow! How cool is that? 6105. Let's get it in there. And just in time, let's give away a PlayStation 4, folks. Let's give away a PlayStation 4. Nightbot, tell us who is going to be the winner of the PlayStation 4. Speed run to the 2021 season. I like it. Oh, we have a couple last minute entrants. I'll let him enter in. Okay, here we go. PS4. Who's getting the P? Oh, it's, you know what? I forgot to mention. It's a PS4 Pro, by the way. It is refurbed, but factory refurb, so you're getting it straight from the source. Okay, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And the winner is... King 18-pin is the winner of a PS4 Pro. If you won anything, folks, I will be sending you a message after this. Please respond with your email address. And we want to make sure that this gets sent out to the right place. We have auto mod going crazy again. Okay, folks. We've got one more video before we wrap it up, and then this is going to be it. Thank you, honestly, I keep saying it, but thank you all for making this evening possible. It's been really great seeing so many past and present members in the chat joining us on the stream. If you be kindly, this is not going to be the last live stream we ever do. If this is something you enjoy, and obviously we do, we're over $600,000 $6,000 raid. I need to take a break. I need a hamburger. I need to eat something. The calories are running low. I've been sweating this whole time. Please feel free to give us a follow. We'd like to do more content on Twitch and this community. And I know, about to have a stroke, right? So please feel free to give us a follow. This will not be the last time that we do something on Twitch and with the live streaming. So thank you so much for making this happen and making all over more than $6,000 props. Thank you so much, everyone, for the nice comments in the chat. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure hanging out with all of you. And can you get 2 more? I do a little bit of speed running on the side. If you don't know what that is, you play video games and it's fun. So I don't know what's left to say. I'm so thankful to everything that this Drum and Bugle Corps has provided for me. I was wearing my alumni shirt today, and I'm that one there. Or if you're looking in over here, I am that one right there. I'm a square. I marched during the square years. And we're up to this year. We're on the shield sizes now. So always fun getting a chance to meet all new members, even though I screw up names and what instrument you played, or if you even played an instrument. Perhaps you were spinning equipment. So can I speedrun including drill? Whew. Man, if I could do that, that would be fantastic and wonderful. So, okay, folks. Thank you all for hanging out. One last video. This was produced by the only Mr. Andrew Rivera, who once again is making this event possible. He's a board member now. He is the reason that we've had so many great giveaways today, and the reason that this event exists. He was one of the primary coordinators of this whole thing. So thank you, Andrew, for producing this video back in 2018, just 2 years ago. This was produced for our 25th anniversary, and for those of you who attended the 25th anniversary, it'll look familiar to you. But it's one of the reasons that we all do this thing. It just captures the spirit of Pacific Crest so well. And this would have been our 28th year in existence. And I say this doesn't happen without, thank you, Stuart, who's on vacation right now and still is doing all the behind the scenes donations and stuff. You all made this possible. If you'd like, you can continue to donate. We're going to keep that donation link up for just a little bit. Please feel free. And thank you so much for over $6,000 raised. I'm beyond words. So here's a little video from the 25th anniversary. And thanks, everyone. Hope you all have a good night and enjoy your Sunday evening.
Every year, there are new lessons learned, new shared experiences, and they happen because of Pacific Crest.
Pacific Crest gave me the opportunity to really work on my leadership skills that I've taken with me into my professional life. It's been a great honor to be part of the organization for 25 years.
My experience with Pacific Crest gave me a lot of confidence in doing things outside of this activity. I can honestly say I am a completely different person than I was prior to being in Drum Corps, and I don't think I'd be the person I am today if I hadn't gone through that experience.
Career, friendships, and even parenting have all been influenced by my ambition, which was developed during my time as a member of Pacific Crest.
It was about the challenge, it was about the persistence, it was about determination, and it was about family.
I cherish all the wonderful memories I have with my Pacific Crest family.
To this day, I can contact anyone from the 3 years that I marched. They'll lend out a hand, and I think that's the true meaning of it.
What I really remember are the people that I met. It's those very same people that make a difference in my life today.
What it really is I'm thankful for Pacific Crest for making my life what it is today.
Thanks, Pacific Crest, for all of the opportunities.
Thank you to Pacific Crest for pushing me to make
I thank Pacific Crest for the opportunity to create lifelong Pacific Crest
I could thank Pacific Crest for one thing, it would be for my husband.
I'd have to thank Pacific Crest.
Please welcome Pacific Crest.
There will always be a piece of my heart left with Pacific Crest, and I know that I'm not alone.
We are Pacific Crest.
Fantastic.